Greetings, everybody, and welcome to the return of Games Bond. Happy Monday, everybody. Happy Bond Day, everybody. What is up? Hope everybody's doing well. I hope everybody is pumped for more Bond action. Space Hopper Copter, Itinerant Soldier, Brunin G, Lurkers in chat, VOD viewers, and everybody else. I hope you are all doing as wonderfully well as I am. I hope you are enjoying better air quality than I am currently. The ongoing complaining about weather continues. Also, let me just hide that, because we're definitely not doing that today. We had some rain this morning, and I was looking forward to nice cooler temperatures, but it really we just got this swampy, humid air today as a result. And now I feel soaked and dreadful. But that's not going to stop us from enjoying some high-octane James Bond action. One could argue that the game that we'll be playing today, the Mega Drive, I was going to say debut, but it's really the first and last James Bond game for the Mega Drive. It's almost our first, like, bona fide, proper side-scrolling action platformer. Like, if you imagine James Bond video game in 2D, I feel like this is the kind of game you would imagine. Like an action platformer, you shoot guns, you rescue sexy ladies, you defuse bombs, you fight villains. But even though we're on game number 15, this is almost the first one of these we've had. We've, of course, had the two James Bond Jr. games, which sort of fit the bill, except they're obviously James Bond Jr. It's kind of a different thing, right? And we've had some walking, running, jumping, shooting on the Amiga and Commodore 64 and what have you. But usually with kind of, I don't know, with some caveats. There were a few of those games that were legitimately cool and arguably significantly better than the game we'll be checking out tonight. It's just interesting for such a license with such a long span of games to not have like very much presence in maybe the number one kind of genre or type of game you tend to associate with movie licensed video game, at least of a certain era. This game, I think, is has its highs and lows. I wouldn't necessarily say that it's a tremendously wonderful super game, but it's not terrible. It's a little bit annoying, I think. It's highly British in places, but that that tends to come with its own set of ups and downs. But we will explore all that in full. James Bond 007 The Duel is the game we'll be playing, and that is actually a game I owned as a child. Technically speaking, it might still be in a box somewhere in my parents' house or something. But I got this game and played it a fair bit. Never really got super far into it. So my mental sort of image of this game is that it's very difficult. And I'm very intrigued to see how that's going to sort of pan out. I am not, necessarily going into all of these games that we're playing with the exception that I'll be going, with the expectation, that I'll be going through the entire game. I would like to, I want to see all of it. And honestly, our track record so far has been significantly better than I would have expected. We have not straight up given up on very many games. In fact, by my count, using the official Games Bond spreadsheet here, there are 3 games so far where we have given up. Granted, there's a couple that we've completed using some kind of cheats and trainers. There's some we used some hints or passwords or what have you. But I was kind of expecting most, if not all, of the computer games to be the kind of thing you play for 15 minutes, determine that it's impossible, and just give up. And that really wasn't the actual experience we had, which I think is kind of cool. I've long said that, like, once we get to GoldenEye, I think that's the kind of breaking point where most games are going to be games that we can persevere and get through sooner or later, as long as we got a bit of patience. We might not finish all of them for various reasons, but probably not because they are just straight up too hard, is my hope. But there's probably going to be one or two like that as well. You never know. But once we get, you know, past that, once we get into kind of the mobile era and the I don't know, let's say the last decade-ish of games, you know, from the, let's say, mid 2000s to the, I think 2012 is the actual final game. Yeah, I think they're mostly going to be fine. So I'm kind of looking forward to that, even though one of the kind of most interesting parts so far has been the incredible diversity of gameplay experiences. So many different genres, so many different gameplay types, so many different interpretations of the James Bond source material. And it's fun and it's cool that we've got a lot of mobile stuff. But as far as and handheld games, I should say, there's quite a few Game Boy, DS, etc. games as well. But at a certain point, the console games are going to be largely, you know, first-person shooters and adjacent. That's my impression anyway. I haven't played many of them, so we'll see. Maybe everything is going to continue to feel pretty varied. We get games from a lot of different developers for different platforms, based on different movies, mostly original stories and whatever. A couple of different Bonds. We'll see. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Anticipating intense British gaming, yeah. There's some of that ahead of us for sure. I'm actually quite excited to check out the next game after this, which is the 8-bit version of the Duel, which I have only seen very, very briefly, and I've seen enough to know that it's a different game, but like not much past that point. There were quite a few of those, I feel like, games for the Game Gear and occasionally Master System that sort of used the same or very similar art assets from Mega Drive games, but played significantly different. For the Batman project, we ended up playing Adventures of Batman and Robin for the Game Gear, which was not a good game. It was in fact quite terrible, but it was one of those games where it was, I don't want to say easy, but you could get sort of tricked into thinking it's better than it was, because it uses a bunch of character sprites from the Mega Drive game, which look quite nice, but the game itself is like busted and fairly terrible. And I think actually the 8-bit version of the Duel uses a lot of the same art assets, or, you know, slightly crunched down to fit Game Gear and Master System specs. But I believe the level structure and level designs, and probably actually gameplay, just like movement and physics and all that, like everything is different. It's a different game. And I'm excited mostly because I never played it. And it's going to be interesting to see, like, so far we haven't really had that in this project, right? We've had games that came out on 7 different computers and were a bit different. But honestly, for the games that had multiple computer versions, more often than not, they were kind of more similar to each other than I might have expected. Like Live and Let Die, the boat racing game, had, you know, a surprisingly serviceable like Amstrad CPC version, and even the Spectrum version. The Commodore 64, like the Amiga version, was in some ways kind of the worst, but everyone was different. But at the same time, like, they were the same core game. I think even the level layouts was the same. You know, and you had James Bond Jr., which was literally 2 completely different games with nothing shared between them. The Duel is going to be an interesting case of like a similar kind of game concept from the same development studio, as far as I'm aware. There were just 2 different games, so it'll be fun. And those are in fact the last 2 games before we jump to GoldenEye, which I would have to imagine is something that some people have been looking forward to. It's the game, I think, by a fair margin, that most people are familiar with when it comes to James Bond. And it's a game that I never really properly played from beginning to end. I've sort of played most of it. I've certainly seen all of it. Played it in sort of fits and spurts here and there over the years, but actually playing through the campaign properly, kind of from beginning to end, is not really something I've ever done, as far as I'm aware. So I'm kind of looking forward to it. I've actually been uh, I've been scouting for USB N64 controllers, so I can get myself a properly, like, faithful experience playing with a, you know, the fake USB controller, sure, but I don't want to, like, the last thing I want to do for this project is to, like, you know, get some super jazzed up emulator with 4K rendering and mouse aiming and everything. Like, I want to play it. If I had an original N64, I'd play it on that, but I don't, so we're gonna have to deal with an emulator. But the controller is such a unique aspect and such a defining aspect of the N64 experience that I think I'd be doing this project a disservice, if not myself and the gameplay experience a disservice, by trying to play it on anything else. So I'm gonna have to pick up a controller like that. And you know, nice to have. Not that I play N64 stuff very frequently, but if I ever feel like doing it in the future, I'll have a controller for the proper experience. Like, I'm sure there's plenty of N64 games I would much rather play on something else, but for the rare game where it actually is very much designed around the N64 controller, or for something like this where the kind of original experience is part of the what I'm trying to look for, having a proper way to play it with an N64 controller, or at least equivalent, I think is going to be key. What's up, Icarus? British gaming coming right up, in fact. So, as always, before we get started, we have a little bit of housekeeping to do. We got a little lore checking, some research, and what have you. So, very first up, we'll check in on the basic details on the game. Here we are, mission number 15. Making some solid progress. It's been, actually, how long has it been? It's been about 8 months, I guess, at this point, because we started in October. It's already nearing the end of June, which is fucking crazy. And we've made it, I guess, a little bit more than a quarter of the way through. Mission number 15 is James Bond 007 The Duel. Released for the Mega Drive in 1993, developed by The Kremlin, published by Domark in Europe and I think America. The Kremlin, I believe, actually, let me look it up. Yes, the Kremlin were the developers of The Spy Who Loved Me, which also, just like this game, featured a phenomenal Matt Furness soundtrack. I want to say that was one of the cooler games we played. That's the one that had the top-down, like License to Kill and Spy Who Loved Me, I think were the two coolest games. License to Kill had a little bit of variety with the types of stages. You had some driving stages and some walking and shooting stages, but it was all like vertically scrolling top-down. The Spy Who Loved Me had some of the vertically scrolling stages. It had the driving stages. It had the absurd Q-Truck token collection situation where you had to grind for currency to buy the scuba equipment. And then you got the shoot 'em up stage underwater. And then you eventually had the like first person shooting gallery gun section. You had to fight Jaws and everything. Like, that was pretty sick. Pretty sick. The same developers made this game. Not sure if I could use the Switch wireless N64 controller. Worth checking that out. Well, I would have to imagine that that's going to be a lot more expensive compared to the USB kind of stuff. I mean, technically maybe better build quality, but it's not like good build quality is anything that characterized N64 controllers in the first place. So I feel like if I buy something on Amazon for 25 bucks and it breaks after 2 weeks, I feel like that's pretty much the authentic N64 experience anyway. But it's not a bad shout. It's not something it hadn't occurred to me, but I reckon stuff like that is probably, I don't even know that I can get them here, and if they are available, they're probably pretty expensive. Yeah, Icarus, time flies. Time sure flies. The stick survives 1 month. Yeah, you gotta grind your N64 analog stick into a fine powder, and you know that you've got a proper N64 controller if you hold it up and you just wiggle it like this, and the joystick just like completely flops like this, like the dead zone being about 85% of the throw range of the stick. That's my experience playing on N64 controllers back in the day anyway. So what are the basic details? What's the basic rundown of this game? The famous Agent 007 must stop a crazy professor who has the same old dream as everyone else: world domination. James Bond 007 The Duel is a platform side-scroller which requires precision in jumping as well as shooting. I think that's accurate. Bond must find and rescue hostages and disarm bombs in each level, as well as face some of his greatest adversaries in order to complete his mission. Yes. So I skimmed through, which we will take a look at properly together, the manual for this game. I kind of realized that over the past couple of games. Like, right, I just need to make sure, to the best of my ability, that we have a manual to read, so we can prepare ourselves properly for the experience coming up. And in a lot of cases, we get a little bit more background and lore and explanations of stuff in the manual. It's not like these games weren't designed with having read the manual in mind, right? So getting that in there is just more proper. I don't know. I was gonna say a more properly faithful experience. That's not really what it's about, but more like a fully fleshed out experience. So with that said, let's see here. I believe we have this right here. There we go. So this is the manual from the US version. I could only find on Sega Retro, they had the US manual and they had the Japanese manual, which is kind of hilarious in its own right, and warrants some mentioning. I'll talk about it briefly later on. But the PAL manual, I think there was only a French manual available, which was like 2 pages long, which surprised me to see, because I'm not... Like, back in the day, PAL Mega Drive manuals, they always had like all the languages in the same manual. They were like landscape oriented, and it was like for every spread, every 2 pages had like the same text, but in like 6 or 8 columns, one for each language. It was always black and white, no details, very rarely any kind of pictures. They were just like very, very visually unexciting. But I was surprised to see on Sega Retro they had a scan of a French manual specifically. It was just like, huh. It never, like, seemed odd to me to have any language-specific manuals for European releases of a Mega Drive game. So who knows what that was about. But I looked through it, and it was, despite being in French, I could determine that it didn't really have anything interesting or unique about it. The Japanese manual is more elaborate. It's also basically a complete piss take. This game was released by Tengen in Japan. And seeing the manual reminded me that I'm pretty sure I've heard that they were kind of famous for their weirdly irreverent localizations. So the game itself, the Japanese version, is fully in English. There's not much text in it to begin with, but the manual like translates the option menus and stuff because it's all in English in the game. But the writing in the manual is very tongue-in-cheek and kind of making fun of... It's very odd. I have it. We could hypothetically look at it, but I wouldn't be able to do a very good job of like explaining and translating it. So maybe in the future, I'll take a closer look at it off stream and see if I can isolate some sections of it for proper appraisal on stream. It's pretty interesting. But in terms of educating ourselves on what to expect in the game, I think the American Genesis manual will do us just fine. Of course, this game reuses some imagery from License to Kill, which was, of course, the most recent Bond film at the time of this game's release. So the game does feature Timothy Dalton on the box. It features kind of halfway ineptly pixel arted version of Timothy Dalton on the title screen. It's more like you can tell that artwork is based off of this photo more so than it actually looks like Timothy Dalton. But it is, of course, not based on that film or any other film for that matter. So let's see what we got here. Table of contents. Instructions, taking control, level descriptions, on-screen information, and Macaw 45's favorite chapter, scoring. Yeah, it's a funny looking picture to begin with, and it looks even sillier in the game, I feel like. Yeah, I guess Tengen were involved in the US version as well. I'm not sure what the deal is there exactly, because Tengen was, of course, Atari's like console division. But I'm sure, because Domark had the license, like Domark published a bunch of different, most of the previous computer games in this project, the computer Bond games, a lot of them were put out by Domark. Congratulations, you have just purchased James Bond 007 The Duel, a premium quality Domark game for play on your Sega Genesis. Get ready for hours of exceptional entertainment at home. Alright, we'll hold into that. Zoom in a little bit further. Introduction. You are James Bond, the world's greatest secret agent. In 007's biggest challenge yet, you must face all your old adversaries in a race to save the world. That's... We're on game number 15. I'm curious how many of those 15 have been James Bond's greatest challenge or most difficult mission or most lethal assignment yet. Pretty much all of them, I think we can safely assume. Sup, Tetsubara? Yes, we got premium quality gaming ahead of us. Mad Professor Gravemar has attacked a top-secret international satellite launch center on a remote Caribbean island. Holding hostages as human shields, he plans to launch deadly satellites into space on a shuttle and use them to take over the world. I like how non-specific that is. Just, there's a satellite launch center from which he's going to launch deadly satellites. Did he bring his own deadly satellites, or was this place... Did they already have like non-lethal, benign satellites and then the lethal kind, and he's just going to choose to launch those? Are they in fact orbital lasers? Not entirely clear. But he's going to launch them into space on a shuttle and presumably maintain control over them, and through that take over the world. I mean, I'll take their word for it. I just feel like this this plot could be filled in a little bit more with details. But, you know, that might get boring, so who knows? This is good enough for me. That's all Bond needs to know, right? Stop an evil professor. All right, you had me at stop evil professor. Your mission is to rescue the hostages and destroy the Mad Professor's strongholds, including the Space Shuttle Launch Center. This can only be done by locating and placing bombs in strategic positions. To help you, Q has managed to plant special weapons in various locations on the island. On-site procurement, huh? Couldn't have just equipped us with it, but well, whatever. You've never faced such deadly opposition. Hundreds of guards with orders to shoot to kill, and all your old arch enemies reproduced by the professor's cloning machine. Just a nice little offhand contrivance there. Yeah, sure, you might have killed these people in your previous movies, but he's got a cloning machine. He just cloned them, but only like 3 of them. That seems like... Does this guy really need to launch evil, deadly satellites if he's got human cloning just down like that? I feel like this guy probably is within his means to, I don't know, if not conquer the world, at least become impossibly rich, which by all, you know, for all intents and purposes is the same thing, right? Well, no one became a mad professor or a human cloner or an infinitely wealthy, I don't know, madman by being rational. So I guess we could not really necessarily apply logic to his situation here. But in any case, that's the plot. That's all we need to know. All right, I don't think we need to learn how to plug in a cartridge and hit on. I think we got that covered. Taking control. Before you begin playing, learn which buttons activate the moves and functions you'll use during play. Directional button. Press left or right to face Bond in different directions. Press down or up to kneel or stand up. Stand by doorway and press up to hide in doorway. Start button will pause the game. Press A to jump. Yeah, the control scheme of this is absolutely unhinged. Press A to jump. Press A plus the directional button to jump in another direction. Button B, press to shoot. Hold down for automatic shooting. Press B plus the directional button to shoot in another direction. They're explaining this a little clunkily here, but you can shoot diagonally up or down by holding up or down as you shoot. I guess that's what they mean. Maybe they mean you can turn left and shoot. I don't know. Button C, press to throw grenade. It's funny because in my memory, I remember from my childhood that this game had a weird control scheme. And in my brain, when I tried to concoct what the control scheme must have been, like, yeah, it must have been shoot on A, jump on B, and grenade on C. My mind could not even concoct a scheme as unhinged as this. B to shoot is obviously standard on Mega Drive, but C to jump is also, you know, there's this subcategory of weirdo games where you press B to jump. And I feel like there's like probably a good chunk of those are either British games or British ports of Japanese games. But A to jump and B to shoot, like I said, A to shoot and B to jump, I could at least see as some kind of, well, you shoot, that's like the primary action, and then jumping, and then grenade. Like, that makes sense. But jump, shoot, grenade is just unhinged. Just, like, unbelievable. Hopefully you can move and shoot at least. I can't remember for sure. I think maybe you can. But the shooting in this game is such that you don't really want to, like, bullets travel very quickly, yours as well as enemies. So you can't really, like, you travel pretty fast on the ground too, and so do enemies. Enemies generally, like, kind of run back and forth, patrolling an area. And if you're on the same, like, platform or plane, and they run, like, that you kind of enter their field of vision, they will shoot. And characters, like, the enemies run fairly quickly, bullets travel quickly, and Bond has, like, a very heavy inertia. Not necessarily for, like, accelerating and moving and running, although that too, but, like, jumping, like, turning. It's like Mortal Kombat. You know, we've been playing MK1 and MK2, and it's like you commit to turning around, and then, like, for 0.75 seconds you just cannot do anything else. You commit to crouching or standing up. You commit to blocking or letting go of block. And, like, through all these transitions between these states, the game will not accept inputs. My recollection is that this game is a little bit like that too, where you press the jump button and there's this kind of like heaving startup to the jump, so you can't really jump to dodge projectiles the same way you could in, like, a Mario game or something like that. It's not really, like, Bond is agile in this game. He can leap 12 feet into the air and do a double somersault, sure, but he needs a little runway to do so. So the way shootouts tend to kind of work in this is you kind of need to be very cautious. So you kind of need to, like, advance very carefully. So you're probably not going to be running full speed and just, like, shooting in front of you. You also have limited ammunition. Like, this is where the Britishisms are starting to come in. The levels are kind of open and maze-like, but also you have limited ammunition. Shooting enemies, they can drop magazines for your gun to pick up, but they will stay on screen for a couple of seconds, at which point, if you have not yet collected the ammo, it will explode and hurt you if you're standing close to it. So if you're, like, barely, like, not in time to collect an ammo pickup, you will take damage. There's fall damage, and if you fall far enough, it's an instant death. Like, it's very punishing in kind of unusual ways like that, which isn't necessarily inappropriate for James Bond, because you can imagine this being a little bit more, you know, less kind of playful in its mechanics. You know, I think it makes sense for a Bond game to be a little more sort of hardcore with that kind of stuff, conceptually. Whether this game like successfully executes on that vision of an action platformer that is a little more, you know, high pressure, a little more dangerous, we'll just have to find out. But there's some stuff going on. Level descriptions. A very, very exciting headline here. Level 1. The action begins as you jetpack onto the supply ship unloading at the island docks. Find and rescue the hostages. Eliminate the professor's guards. Locate and set the bomb to destroy the ship's flight deck. And face an old enemy, Jaws, before you can escape. But be careful. There's only a limited amount of time until the bomb explodes. If you're still on the level, you'll die. So yeah, this stage acts as a little bit of a tutorial stage in that it's a little more linear than the other stages. If memory serves, you first rescue the hostages, and then there's one bomb, you set it, and there's a timer, and you can complete the rest of the level. And there's actually 2 exits to this level. I don't exactly remember how you get to either of them, but I'm sure in the process of playing this game, we'll be playing stage 1 more than once, so we should hopefully be able to figure out both exits. Yeah, don't worry about it, Icarus. Don't worry about it. And I think the other stages have more hostages, and then once you like save all the hostages, there's multiple bombs, and when you set the final bomb, that's when the timer starts. I guess we'll see if the manual helps clarify. Level 2. Having neutralized the professor's supply ship, make your way through the jungle where the satellite receiving station is hidden. The evil voodoo doctor, Bones, which is very funny, so, like, I don't know why, but for some reason, the manual insists on calling Baron Samedi Bones. Mayday is also in the game, and I think she's called Yo-Yo or something. I have no idea why they're, like, there's like 3 actual Bond characters in the game, and 2 of them are referred to by, like, unrelated names. Like, is there some weird licensing situation? Which technically is not impossible, because at this time, like, part of the reason why there were no Bond movies between 89 and 95 was because the IP was in some ownership sort of struggles. So maybe there's some weird aspect of this where James Bond 007, that's all licensed, but they couldn't license maybe specific details like characters from specific films. They're in the game, but maybe they just call them something else. I have no idea, or it's just fucked up. In the Japanese manual, Mayday is referred to as Mayday, so although yeah, I think there's actually 4. Yeah, we'll get to it. But yeah, the evil voodoo Dr. Bones will thwart your attempts to storm the station. You must, of course, free the hostages before you can set the bomb. Then find the entrance to level 3, the underground power plant. And this is about as far as I remember ever really getting as a kid. I've seen what's past this stage, but I don't know that I personally ever cleared stage 2. Probably did at some point, but, like, that's hazy. Level 3. Inside the volcano, the mad professor has engineered a volcanic heat exchanger reactor. You must negotiate the corridors, avoid the molten lava, scale the outside of the reactor, reach the top to set the bomb, and make your way to level 4, the shuttle launch pad. But beware of Yo-Yo! Yeah, that's Mayday. I was talking about this game not too long ago with someone, and I was like trying to recollect, because in my memory there were 5 stages, and I could only remember 4 of them, because it's like, yeah, there's the boat, there's the jungle, there's the caves, and there's the lab, or like the high-tech facility. But looking through the manual, like, those are the 4 levels. And I wasn't sure if I was like conflating stuff, but there is technically a level 5, which is like, I think the PAL manual, or somewhere I read, breaks it down more like there are 4 levels, and then there's the final showdown. But I'm not sure if the level 5 is like not really a full level, or if it's reusing a previous tile set, or what have you. But we'll see if we ever get that far. Level 4. This tough level challenges you to destroy the space shuttle. Odd Job and the guards are not your only obstacles. You must also negotiate around the searing heat from the shuttle's engines. Once the hostages are rescued and the shuttle is destroyed, your mission is complete. Almost. Now you must escape from the island. Level 5, your archenemy Jaws is back, making one last desperate attempt to foil you. The only way to triumph over Gravemar and escape safely is to defeat Jaws in this ultimate confrontation. Good luck, James. So I think that's you know, you could call it a slight bit of a cop-out, but I don't think it's inappropriate. You know, Jaws kind of is a little bit of an introductory boss, and then he shows up as the final boss as well. I'm assuming Professor Gravemar, like, is not someone you actually fight. But I've not seen the end of this game. I don't know what beating it looks like. I don't know. I can sort of picture level 4 in my mind's eye. And level 3, even though I sort of conflate them a little bit. I don't recall if I've ever seen Oddjob. I've seen like a screenshot in the Japanese manual, but I don't remember like seeing what the sort of fight is like. And I definitely don't remember what level 5 would have been. Yeah, here's level 2. Climb the vines. On-screen information. Explanation of icons on the screen from top to bottom. Hostage/bomb indicator. Yes, this shows you like how many hostages are left to rescue. And I'm a little unsure. I think it sounded like from the description that it's the same thing on stage 2 where you rescue a bunch of hostages and then there's one bomb. But then I think maybe stage 3 and or 4 have multiple bombs, or maybe it's just the one bomb on every stage. Lives remaining. Times you can be shot before losing a life. Number of ammo clips. 24 bullets each. Pick these up when you shoot an enemy. Bond will automatically reload his gun. Number of grenades found only in Q cases, and score. Alright, here's the scoring chapter. Bullet hit on enemy vehicle. Pick up enemy clip. Kill enemy guard. I like that Yo-Yo, Bones, and Oddjob are worth 5,000, but Jaws is worth 15,000. He's worth much more. Although it's funny that the other bosses are only worth twice as much as a regular enemy. Because they're definitely more than twice as tough. As far as I recall, you mainly just... they're just bullet sponges. They kind of just stand there or maybe walk back and forth and you just shoot them a billion times. But the regular enemies, at least as far as I've played, I think all die in one hit. Traversing submarines, 25,000. I guess this is from like exiting stage 1. Rescue every hostage is 25. The scoring in this seems insane. I mean, I guess rescuing the hostages and placing the bombs are very important mission objectives, so I guess they would be worth a lot of points. Blow up objective. Destroy enemy vehicle. I'm just like, enemy vehicles? What enemy vehicles do you fight in this game? I don't know that I want to know. Even just these like regular ass sailors running back and forth on the boat in stage 1 are like dangerous enough. But we might find out. Much rather traverse 1 submarines than beat 5 Oddjobs. Given the choice, yeah. I would rather not collect any bombs if I... Although, I guess if I collect a bomb, I could then place the bomb and earn a lot of points. Though I wouldn't want to be held responsible for blowing up objectives or destroying enemy vehicles. There you go. Very short and kind of boring manual. There's not a lot to it. But I guess it's a fairly simple game. Not an easy game, mind you, but a fairly simple game. But I am excited to sort of get a sense of the difficulty to see if my perception and recollection of it is in fact accurate. Let's get live split up and running and see if we can get some timer action there. Should also, before I forget, 1 or 2 more things before we get going. In the spreadsheet here, which if you want to check that out, you can just plug that link in chat right there. I'm going to change status of this game to active. Mission start 2023-06-19. Wow, it's been almost a month since we completed James Bond Jr. Doesn't feel like it. Time has indeed flown. We should also check in on our friend Q. The Q Branch Research Funding Initiative is progressing smoothly. We are at 11,370 Q credits of our goal of 15,000. Once we reach 15,000, we will have procured the necessary resources to research and develop the necessary technology to take on secret mission number 3. Once we reach that point, I will announce what the next secret mission is going to be. The secret missions, of course, consist of unlicensed games and James Bond stuff. Things that for one reason or another didn't quite make the cut, didn't quite qualify for the main game list of the 50 games. And it's an eclectic mix of interesting things. So all contributions to the channel in form of bits and subscriptions and donations, merch sales, etc. will all contribute to this little fund here. Do Bond parodies count for secret missions? Nope, we do not have time for any such drivel. There is enough proper Bond to cover that we must not get sidetracked with aquatic fish agents or No One Lives Forever's or Austin Powers's or anything like that. It's all Bond all the time. We've already got there's like I said, there's more than enough of that. Although whether it counts as a parody or not, I guess is that's perhaps in the eye of the beholder. We've played some games that some might argue are Bond parodies already. But yeah, we're looking to be as thorough as we can in playing actual Bond stuff. So that's what we're focusing on. But there you go. Throughout the stream, if you type !Q, you will see the little bottom panel on the layout show the current funding status, if you're curious about where we're at. So with that, I believe we are about ready to go. I am equal parts excited and terrified about what lies ahead. But yeah, it should be a good time. So as mentioned, I did own this game as a kid, but I don't have the cartridge on me, and it was the PAL version. We are going to be playing the US version, although technically, I guess it's the US/PAL version. So as you can see, we have a couple of different releases here. I have not seen, although admittedly I have not particularly looked for any specific information on what is different about the Japanese version. I would not be shocked if it amounts to nothing more than a Tengen logo on the intro. As you can see, there's another dump here that is like all regions, and it has Tengen in it, so I'm not sure. Because the US manual mentions both Domark and Tengen. I'm not sure what the deal is. But I'm curious. I don't know if there are any gameplay differences in the Japanese version. I would not expect there to be, but it's not unheard of for Japanese versions of unhinged Western games to be made easier or to be altered somehow. So we'll stick with the UE version tonight, and I 1000% do not expect to finish this game tonight. So by the time we check it out next time, I'll try to see if I can make some kind of research into it. And if we don't find any answers, maybe we'll just play the Japanese version next time, just to see ourselves if we can determine any of it. Like I said, I think there's essentially not a lot of text, barely any text really in the game. And I don't think the Japanese version, I don't think any of the text that's in it is actually localized, so I don't think we'll miss out on anything that way. Well, let's do it. weird fake Timothy Dalton there. And there we go. A Domark production programmed by the Kremlin. All track mode here. So, you get a little preview of what the game looks like in action. Oh, here's a highly British high score list. This is different in the Japanese version. All right, Paul, Jolien, Sorav, Mickey, Tony, Chris. Not a single Neil. There was a Paul, but no Neils, no Nigels. It could have been more British, but still, I'd say above average Britishness on that high score table. But I think the most noteworthy aspect is that we are actually hearing the James Bond theme song, which is not really something that has been featured in very many games. Of course, the most recent time we played a game with a Matt Furness soundtrack, it had the incredible adaptation of this theme song with the weird funky hip-hop beat and voice samples and shit. This one is a little more what do you want to call it, a little more subdued, a little more restrained. Still going. Matt Furness cannot be contained. Quality henchmen outfits. You can kind of see what I mean about the about what the gunfights actually look like in this game. Like, by the time you have seen an enemy run on screen, you don't really have time to dodge their bullet, and you don't have infinite ammo, so you can't just keep running and shooting all the time either. I'm actually unsure if if you can run and shoot at the same time, but we'll figure that out. So we've seen the first 3 stages. I wonder if we get to see stage 4 as well. Yep. I feel like I gotta lean back. The movement is really you can see how close to the edge of the screen he runs too. But the graphics are really nice. Bond looks appropriately suave. The environments are nice and colorful and detailed. I mean, the Spy Who Loved Me had awesome pixel art too. Dude, I feel like I should have been running the timer. How long was that music? That was so sick. All right, press start. Yeah, jump, fire, grenade. So you can, yeah. There we go. That looks a little more normal. So this is difficulty. You can go from normal to hard to manic. The Japanese manual, unlike the Western ones, helpfully explains that this setting changes how much damage you take from enemy bullets. So I think normal you take 1 damage, hard you take 2, and manic you take 3. And I believe it's going to be hard enough on normal. You got the proper Matt Furness track names here. Map wrap. It's for the map screen. But we won't spoil ourselves. Surprised this isn't merely a Rolling Thunder clone. Could have been, right? And it's almost like, in the context of this, a James Bond action game released in '93, I wouldn't necessarily say oh, I would have expected that to be a Rolling Thunder clone, but it's absolutely a logical kind of thing to expect there to have been. I guess the closest you kind of get are the obviously Rolling Thunder 2 and 3 to a degree, I guess. Like the characters a lot more Bond-like than in the original game. And okay, yeah, let me reset. The game actually just started. I didn't press anything, and then I heard the music's change, so I pressed start because I figured we'd go back to the attract mode. But what actually happened was the map theme started playing, and then before it showed up on screen, I skipped the map screen and we got into stage 1. That was kind of weird. Also, I guess the reset button isn't working very well. That could be a flashcard thing, who knows? Yeah, there's Slice By, aka Secret Agent, which is the Japanese title. And that's kind of I mean, it's a Data East game, so it's kind of like one of those. It's got Rolling Thunder in the DNA for sure, but it's not really. It's a walk and shoot, sure. So it kind of exists, and you have Thunder Jaws from Atari, which is kind of a Rolling Thunder-esque game because it's very similar to the Batman game, and that's got a very yeah, Shinobi's a good point of comparison. Exactly, like it's similar but not quite a Rolling Thunder clone, but it's within that same wheelhouse, like Crime City, eSWAT, a walk and shoot, as I like to call them, scoot and shoot. I don't know. I mean, Crime City is like a roll and shoot. What's up, by the way, Mr. Food, Dispatch, Why Not, Guybrush, Versatois. Welcome, everybody. Let's try that again. Alright. I like the Sega logo is like weirdly off-center too. It's like higher up on the screen than it should be. Everything is a little weird. There is a Master System version of the Duel, which is a different game, and we'll be playing that one after this. Same development studio, but it has like completely different levels, from my understanding. All right, I'm just gonna press start. It's so weird that it just starts by itself. Ooh, Q logo, mission 1, lives 4. It goes by very quickly. Oh shit, time. There we go. There's a lot of cool little touches in the polish and everything. Yeah. Let me go to, oh, you can press the jump button to slide. Like he swaps hands, which is like, it looks cool, but it also takes like a second to turn around. Like the jumping. Oh, cool, they dropped the magazine. You kind of want to like stop to let the scrolling catch up. Right, so you can go down into the water. I won't show this deliberately because we might get a nice little surprise later. You might, you know, technically you can make your way up on that ladder, but as you might suspect, we don't actually want to go into the water. Even the, like, look at this animation. Like, how many frames are there for this animation? Like, it's very nice and smooth. But that isn't something that actually helps us. Yeah, the sound effects are good. Shooting down is a little awkward if you don't want to waste bullets shooting forward first. It can be done. This is the best chunky sound. Dude! There we go. I accidentally shot downwards instead of crouch shooting. It was worth it. I think you can crouch. There's a few of those kind of doorway looking things. Yeah, like that. It's like open. That works. So you can hide like this, Rolling Thunder style. Can the enemies crouch? Not on this stage. I don't know if they can later. But yeah, it's very much you have to like inch forward very carefully. So I forget exactly what you do here. Oh, you can swing down. So this is gonna... I was gonna say, that's gonna fall down. I think maybe you can shoot it. You can drop the sub in some other way. But you may notice that we still are on one hostage. Right, so I won't be able to grab that because it'll explode. For now, at least, crouching against oncoming enemies. Mostly safe. There's like a big recovery on everything. It's a little awkward. Ah, try to jump. As I said, Bond is a little clunky. Right, so you can't jump across here. Yeah, I think maybe you can jump shoot, or you shoot upwards, or do something to release the submarine. Or you can stand on it and jump off it or something. Obviously, the intended method is not to stand on it and then fall down and die. I'm not sure if there's some kind of... If I'm doing this, I can slide down, but he still has to go through that entire animation. Trying to see if there's some... Can't, like, cancel out of that animation. Yeah, I can't even shoot, but I can shoot from the ladder like this, at least. So the submarine should be ready to go now. It's not going to stick around here, but it'll be available. So if you don't drop the sub, you don't have the submarine exit as an option. Oh, oh shit. Didn't realize he would be firing multiple rounds. Kind of monster closet there, I guess. It's pretty sick where they maintain momentum. Oh yeah, look down there. Sharks. So we'll get to see it sooner or later, I'm sure, but the animation of Bond being mauled by sharks is quite funny. So let me just try something. Oh, okay. That's what I wanted to try. I wanted to see if I could jump off the ladder, but you cannot. I do vaguely recall this, like... Oh, okay. Grenades. Oh. As you get up from a ladder, like they'll turn around and shoot instantly. So you want to make sure that he's like far enough away to not get kind of aggroed. Music's so good. Fuck. Redo a whole bunch now. Gotta go down here. Like the running, jumping, shooting, like everything is pretty satisfying, but it's just rather punishing. If I can go up while he's kind of off screen. Oh, I didn't mean to climb all the way up. I have to like go up on that pipe or anything. There we go. All these missiles. So I do think it's nice of the game to not have a timer. Because in my memory, this game was a bit like Alien 3 or something, where you have these big levels that you have to learn to navigate on a timer. I can't turn around. Well, that works. But I think the bomb is up here somewhere. To my left. So the real strat is to not activate the bomb. and go fight and take care of Jaws first. But I do believe... okay, I guess it's not here. I think you're kind of meant to be able to go get the bomb first. There might have been another ladder up here. Nope, I guess not. Did I just turn around in midair? Oh, okay. So you can... Okay. I see. No one's been dropping clips. Wait, you can't turn around. Oh, you have to just... It's a little weird. It's hard to explain, but you kind of, for a split second, have to let go of down. Oh, okay, there's the bomb. So I have 5 magazines. That's why they're not dropping any. Otherwise, enemies do drop them. So I believe I can jump over the bomb. Yep. So there's like some elevator here. And I believe, you know, I think we can be safe here. If memory serves, there's like a staircase, and then at the top of it, yeah, Jaws is going to be kind of guarding. Okay, there we go. So this is the path, I thought, to the submarine, but I guess not. I think we can, yeah, we can just do this basically. Oh, I have to reload. That's a pretty sick animation. There we go. It drops health. So at this point, I think we can relatively safely... I was not looking. That spooked the shit out of me. Enemies just respawning. Holy... Whoa! There we go. So as you can see, like, everything's been pretty linear. Dude, crouch, please. Dude, crouch! Now we have, like, 1 hit point. Oh! Terrifying. So there's like a jetpack. Or you can get the sub. So I think you can go to the right and you get a jetpack. You can see there, I had 17 seconds to spare, which isn't like an awful lot. Mission 2, live 3. So if I'd taken out... if I didn't take out Jaws first, that would have been pretty damn tight. Okay, I just need to... Oh, that was still pretty intense. Very intense British gaming. So 10 minutes to get stage 1. And that's like by far not only the easiest stage, but also just like the simplest, least complex stage. So now we've got 7 hostages. It's like interesting to see how much I'm retaining from my childhood, though. I haven't played this game in at least 25 years, I would say. It's cool that we got unique enemies for each stage also. Like, again, there's like a significant level of polish that I feel like I couldn't appreciate quite as a kid. So as I said before, like, I think there's an argument to be made that this is one of, if not the best, of the Bond games we've played so far in some ways. Like, it's certainly awkward and weird in some ways. This little dangling animation. So you have to hold up. Okay, I think. It's so fucking fast. Yeah, I mean, the Kremlin were very much an Amiga developer, which I think is like... I don't know that any Mega Drive developer in Europe at the time were not also Amiga developers or had an Amiga background. Like, the European game development scene at the time was very deeply steeped in the demo scene. A significant level of polish, but not as high as the level of British. I think that's fair. Fair to say. Whoa, okay. Like, the animation, like, he moves, like... He moves in a very cool way, which is kind of... Like, yeah, let's, you know, forget what Bond actually looks like in the movie. We're just gonna make him a cool action video game star, you know? Alright. Oh, my capture blacked out for a second.
Unspeakable horror awaits you.
You know, please. 15 months of unspeakable horror. James Bond should do more jungle platforming in the movies. That would be welcome, I believe. I think this game is like simultaneously hitting on... Whoa, that was an opening. I did not realize. Kind of Bondy tropes while also being like, fuck it, it's a video game. It's just Amiga levels. Like in my memory, it was more Amiga levels and less James Bond. And I mean, it sort of kind of is, but not, you know... Not to any sort of egregious measure. I mean, given what we've had to work with so far, it's not really any less Bond-like than any of the other games. Certainly not those that aren't based on movies directly. And Commando dudes. Yeah, for sure, Dispatch. Like, the Amiga is very similar to the Mega Drive hardware-wise. They both use the same processor, and the graphical capabilities are quite similar. So it makes sense. Yeah, but you can kind of already see that this level is a bit more vertical and sprawling than the last one. Oh, bones! There we go. Took care of him. The bosses aren't like super threatening so far. You can jump shoot. I hurt myself. I'm not gonna... Yeah. Yeah. Surely, like, his feet are well above this. Alright, well, whatever. It would be interesting if someone did, like, a ROM hack of this. To make some adjustments to the kind of animation priority and the controls. Because I do think the jumping is, like, quite satisfying. The shooting feels good. But there's, like, a few aspects, like the scrolling not quite keeping up. Hopefully I didn't miss a hostage there. That just makes it kind of awkward and difficult in ways that aren't really fun. Fucking, I'll try to jump up so I could climb down the ladder so I wouldn't risk taking fall damage. And of course I jump down instead. Yeah, that connects back to where we were. So unless... Let me just double check to be sure. No, that doesn't even go to the right. Okay. I didn't even do the flip, but I still managed to clear that jump. Pretty satisfying. Whoa! Whoa, okay. You can kind of jump. You do a little hop off a ladder. But probably not enough to jump up on the platform that the ladder connects to. Oh, that's right. We got grenades. Totally forgot about that. Although I don't really know where I'd use them, to be honest. Well, might as well collect them. A Q briefcase. We got 5 grenades. That's probably max. Oh, I could step. I was like, wait, how do I get up there? I see. Nice. These platforms are not quite solid. Dude, I just realized, by the way, this is the fucking giant structure we saw poking out of the forest in the background of stage 1. My mind is being exploded right now. It's got this big ass Seattle needle UFO shape. Like, that is insanely cool. I'm in danger because he could shoot me in my little feet. There's a... Okay, so I reckon I probably need to jump over there. Probably not, because I think I was here before. But it was worth exploring. I could definitely not jump up there, though. Gotta climb up there again. But again, I don't know where the hostages are, so... So I'm trying to figure out, like, if you hold to the right or left for a second... Actually, no, I can't get in here. Okay. You drop from the ladder. But I think you can also... Yeah, the jump button by itself doesn't do anything. That was kind of... Okay, so I hold the jump, and then I hold to the side, and he does a little hop. If I only hold to the side, he'll kind of just drop. Let's move on. Still, we have to go up and see the right-hand side of this, I guess. What's up, don't call it. Yeah, the music in this is great. Like, is it Bond-like? Not very, but it actually does feature the James Bond theme song, which is more than pretty much any game we've played before. And the game has its own, like, pretty kind of consistent and cool mood, I think. Well, I don't think I can make that jump. But we could get up higher than this, I think, if we went to the left. Yeah. Oh, no, he just despawned. Maybe he fell. Which Bond is the most capable of doing these flips? I don't know. George Lazenby, maybe? Sprightly young 87-year-old Roger Moore. Whoa. Oh shit, enemy vehicle. Well, I think I figured out where to use my grenades. Holy shit, it's like a 45-year startup. Ah, shit, I stood up in the bullet. Dude, the animation of him pulling the pin with his teeth, though. How fucking sick is that? Oh, do I need to fucking fly up? Dude, the levels get so elaborate all of a sudden. Not sure how much this helps, but there was supposed to be an 8th spot on the high score screen, and there's even a default score labeled call-in with a score of 0. Well, we can do better than call-in at least. Actually, I'm curious to see where this score lands us on the high score table. Well, I think rest assured we don't really need to use the grenades in any high pressure situations. Whoa! Alright, okay. I try to hold up to grab the vine, but I just missed the platform. Okay, we got a little checkpoint here. I haven't seen any hostages for a while, so we're gonna obviously go up there. But that might be kind of an optional route. But there's more caves here, so I feel like we should investigate. Yep. So yeah, as you can see, Baron Samedi, aka Bones, was kind of just a little midpoint of the level. Well, it's a good thing we went, ironically, it's a good thing we took that death, because otherwise we would have just missed that hostage and wouldn't be able to clear the level. Running short on ammo. Good, it didn't explode in our face. I was gonna say, that was a misplaced jump. It's kind of cool though, like, in a way, like, it can be very frustrating. But I don't hate the idea of these, like, you know, as a gigantic fan of Prince of Persia. I can't say that I'm entirely against the idea of these like high stakes jumping type situations. So the vehicle should probably be gone, right? Oh, cool. I guess it's not always on. All right, we got one more life. I have no idea what the continue situation is like. I also don't know if it's possible to earn more lives. Ah, I should have done a running jump. Well, there are continues. I don't know if they're limited. I'm assuming we'll have to do this stage from the beginning, though. I think we go back to the map screen even. Yeah. Three continues. Yeah, I don't think, like, it didn't seem right to me that you would have unlimited continues. Because I definitely remember, like, game overing and not necessarily getting very far as a kid. But yeah, I think the maps, like, the stages are very learnable. Yeah, so I guess we can maybe go in here and just take the top route altogether. Because that's the thing I was thinking, like, the first kind of course of action for getting help to beat this game if we don't succeed on our own accord would be to just get maps of the stages to like scope out a route. Because given that you can crouch to kind of avoid enemy fire, means that most situations can be dealt with relatively safely. Like they didn't, like, in a situation like that, you're like fairly safe because they actually have to get somewhat close before they attempt to shoot. It's just that if you're running towards the edge of the screen like that, they'll, you know, bump up against you. So was there a hostage in the cave? Should I go back? I can't even go up there. That's weird. Again, like, the fact that there's no time limit here is, like, surprisingly generous. Yeah, I figured there would be one. Because in my mind, I always kind of relate this game to Alien 3, which is structurally, like, kind of similar, and also has Matt Furness music. And that game is all about, like, the super strict time limit. But playing this, like, the level design is also, I would say, significantly less maze-like in this. Well, so far. I think the game kind of gets progressively more maze-like. It's kind of my recollection, anyway. I don't think there's anything else up here, right? Yeah, because we jump... Well, no, I can see a hostage right there. Very lucky I hit that edge there, or else I think that fall might have possibly killed me. Everything does look a bit samey, so it's not super easy to kind of remember. The layouts, but yeah, we'll go into the cave on the bottom right there to... Like, yeah, I was holding down, but I couldn't crouch quickly enough. I don't know if I could have shot there, but we're at 4 health though, so we're okay. I guess I got health from rescuing the hostage? I must have, right? Yeah, let's get rid of this guy. I know it's possible to shoot downwards without... Fuck's sake. Well, I guess he won't shoot across the pit. It looked like he absorbed the bullet, but he didn't actually die. 2 more hostages. Oh, we don't have the grenades from stage 1, but 3 grenades I think is all we ended up using. Like, I figure you, you're not really putting yourself in danger fighting the tank. So it's just about, like, whether you use your bullets or your grenades, pretty much. But because the grenades aren't, like, barely usable. There wasn't anything over here, was there? Little hint of this, I guess. Might as well just get the grenades to use them here. This guy despawn again? I guess he did. Up Tango Bunny, because weird seeing Joe Mark and Mega Drive stuff. I think they published quite a few things, or maybe they just published this and Prince of Persia, two formative games of my childhood. But yeah, most of their publishing was on computer platforms. I guess this is just to allow you to go back, maybe, to backtrack, I don't know. Oh, okay. I didn't think they would go quite that far. Alright, stay behind the blue thing. I think I can just wait, right? Yeah. Let's stay closer to this thing and inspect it a little bit. It looks like it's shooting up more, whoa, aggressively. Nope. Are you guys seeing something I'm not seeing? If I hadn't done this first try, I wouldn't have, whoa, shit. Trying to practice firing. Oh, I don't... Ah, it's too late now. Maybe I... No, that doesn't make sense. I was gonna say, maybe I can't somersault? Let's see if I can try to land on this thing. Nope. Oh, I guess that's how you do it. You just land on it. It's an actual, like, bouncing pad, and I jumped over it the other times. That explains that. Okay, we figured it out. That's progress. We've collected data. Am I gonna land on the platform? It kind of seems like I won't. Okay, one more and then bomb and then find the exit. So I have zero recollection of where the exit on this level is and what it looks like. Trampoline exhaust pipe, exactly. Okay, let's collect some grenades, you never know. So this level, more vertical, more sprawling, but not necessarily more maze-like. Okay, let's not drop down on this level. Do this. And it's nice that you can at least control the camera up and down. It lets you scope things out as to not plunge yourself into instant death type scenarios. Okay, we can go right there. There might be something bottom here. We're really fucking high up. Oh, we're at the bottom. Find bomb. Okay, sick. But in case there's other vehicles or something else to destroy. So we're going... The next stage is the underground cave system. Meaning the exit is probably, you know, down here somewhere. Such as maybe down this elevator. So yeah, I can't jump there. Okay. But I would suspect that we're meant to explode. Fuck off. some part of the facility up above ground. Oh, we'll see. Well, there's not much else to well, I mean, we can go up here, but I can't imagine we would, like, be supposed to backtrack. Huh. I mean, maybe the bomb is here and the exit is kind of in the same place. Because I don't know if the bomb, like, wouldn't spawn. Actually, like, if we assume that the timer for the bomb is still a minute. Oh, okay. Sure. Take a ride. Then we wouldn't be able to backtrack, like, very far. Well, there's the bomb. Well, then I have to assume that the exit, well, is there. Yeah, 14 seconds. Oh. Alright, we got it. 3 seconds. Anthony Roberts, thank you for the follow. Good progress. Mission 3. 3 lives left. Alright, so there's... yeah, that's on our second credit. But nice. It's like... knowing that we can beat Stage 2 means that we can beat it deathless. Because I took a death... I mean, after continuing... I took a death from the exhaust trampoline jump. And I think that was probably it. It's very interesting. I feel like I'm, like... a lot of the time, you play games from your childhood, and you kind of go, like, how the fuck could I beat this game as a kid? It's, like, so hard, or so frustrating, or whatever. And it's just something you sort of grind it out as a kid. And now I'm kind of like... I'm not saying we're going to beat it now or anything. But in my memory... like I said, I remembered just about everything up until Baron Samedi. And from there on, like, I didn't even remember that there was a big tank. In the manual, I was like, defeating a vehicle? Like, what vehicles are you fighting? I had no memories of that at all. And it's like, well, okay, if this was my first time playing this blind, we would 1000% not be doing this well. I could use my recollection of how to fight enemies and how the stage layout of stage 1 worked and everything. I remembered the cheese strat for Jaws and everything. I'm mostly, like, intrigued with my, like, how is it that I barely remember ever getting this far when it's like, it's not that big of a deal. Nice Mortal Kombat font on the pause sign, by the way. I like the effect of it going black and white, but it's also funny that the pause sign is in color, but then it's too fades to black and white. I feel like that could have been in color, so it stands out a little more. Never had that feeling because kid you didn't beat anything. I mean, I wouldn't say that I was some gamer expert or anything, but I definitely have played games that I remember beating, and I'm playing like, fuck, this is not easy. Like, I remember I played, we very, very rarely rented games as a kid. I can honestly remember, like, maybe 2 times that we rented games, but I had friends who did it fairly often. But one time we rented Ghostbusters for the Mega Drive, and I remember seeing the ending. In my head, I think I beat it, but I think probably my brother beat it, and I saw the ending. Because I got the game, I guess it was actually not long after that, because it was still, like, when I had my Mega Drive, I bought the PAL version. Or maybe that was it. Maybe I had rented it, and I liked the game, so then I bought it, like, 2 years later, having had fond memories of it, and beat it in, like, 2 days or something. Maybe that was it. Maybe I'm conflating it. Because I think what it was is I got the Japanese version for my kind of current collection, 20-something years later, and I played it. It's like, holy shit, this is not an easy game. Like, when you get to the latter stages of Ghostbusters on the Mega Drive, like, it gets pretty ruthless. So it's like, wow, I beat this game in middle school, huh? Like, well, I guess I was more of a gamer than I thought. We made it to a new stage. We're already paused, just chatting about all kinds of things. I think this is a good opportunity for a short break. I'm gonna go take a quick bathroom break, a little light stretching, and then we will explore the underground caverns and see what we can find. I'll be back in just a little bit. All right. I am back. Bond is back. Let's go. Timer. Action. All right. Mazeliness already increasing. 4 hostages only on this level. I always thought these dudes looked like some fucking safari-ass Curious George looking... I don't know what they are. I guess they're wearing some kind of jumpsuits with little hats. I mean, I guess they're meant to be hard hats. I don't know. But it also kind of looks like they're wearing shorts. Okay, go all the way to the bottom for 1 hostage. Probably don't want to try to... Go across here. Surely those things in the ceiling are gonna fucking kill us. That's right. The only thing I really remember about this level is that you eventually fight Mayday. Okay, I thought those things at the... I didn't touch down and he started crouching. I thought those things at the bottom would be like cannons or something. Oh yeah, that's right. If you jump shoot, you make the fucking rocket noise. Okay. I was fully crouched. Maybe it's the stripes on their pants being like skin colored that when they're running just kind of makes it look like they're wearing knee-length shorts. I'm not sure. Oops, okay. 3 floors. Yeah, so what I was going to say before about the level, the only thing I really remember of this, aside from the safari outfits of the henchmen, is that when you come across Mayday, you want to come at her from below, because that allows you to shoot her with the upwards, you know, you can aim up and shoot, and sort of take her out just as trivially. Ah, shit, I stood up too soon. As the other characters. Dude, they're uncrouchable. Fuck, okay, there we go. That explains that. Well, there's our difficulty increase. The fuck, do I gotta fucking jump over them? How am I meant to deal with this? I technically could jump a bullet, okay. You just gotta fucking time it perfectly, I guess. This is ridiculous. Can't climb that, so maybe there's gonna be a little raft. Okay, of sorts. I can't shoot, by the way. Oh, do the momentum. Or inertia, I guess is a better word for it. I should have just ridden it longer. I was scared that he would shoot me so I would fall off of it, but I don't think he acknowledged my existence while I was on that thing. I guess you just run for a little bit, and then you wait for an enemy spawn. And shoot them before they can do anything. Guess that's the strat. As opposed to... Nope, okay. Maybe I'm high enough here? I don't know. Yeah. Oh, come on. Does that not go higher? What if I hold up? Does that make any difference? I don't think it would, but... Nope. Okay. Oh, that's right. I can't crouch under. I guess crouching is kind of useless then. Like, because it just takes time. this an elevator or something on? Because this thing wasn't on the other side. Yeah, there we go. Grenades. Elevator continued down. I think Mayday is like somewhere on this or a similar kind of structure. So I don't know if we're gonna like drop down to her now. Yep. Dude, that's pretty sick. Oh shit, she's following me down. Dude, the sprites are so cool. Okay, so... Alright, we made it. Dude, this is just way too British. Oh, I didn't see what I was aiming at. The top, okay. There we go. Okay, how far do we make it? Alright, number 5. So do we still get to continue is my question. I feel like probably not. So I guess 1 continue. Alright, well, or maybe you can earn continues. Maybe it's based on scored. Scored? Maybe it's based on score or something. The manual, of course, makes no mention of continuing whatsoever. Well, I'm curious if the Japanese version might have like infinite continues or something like that. So replaying this, we can avoid... Well, I was going to say we can avoid taking the submarine death, but I guess I don't know how to avoid taking that death. I'm not sure. I mean, obviously you can do it, but I don't remember how. I'm just trying to like map out what our next attempt might look like. But obviously we don't need to take like 4 deaths on the bouncing exhaust. But yeah, stage 3 ratchets up the difficulty quite significantly. But we need to go to the very top, because there's that hostage in that kind of little alcove dead end. And then I guess you can take probably... nice demo. If you take the bottom path... I can't remember if there was a hostage on the center path. Like, this is the rough part here, because... as long as you're continuing to play on the same credit, all the hostages remain saved. So you can make progress, but you don't get that repetition of like, oh yeah, I gotta do this. You don't get like, you don't get to rehearse and practice the route. So by the time we made it through, like, there's even like a middle, I guess 4 floors? By the time we make it back to stage 3, I will have already forgotten everything I learned. So we'll see. I think for stage 2, I can mostly just kind of trust my instincts. That we will get to the places we need to go. But with stage 3, like, even navigating, just like cruising around gets more dangerous because the enemies are significantly harder to deal with if you can't crouch under their bullets. Dude, I'm even on a higher platform and I can still crouch. Up opponent. Welcome. Oh yeah, I didn't even get to show the shark death. Actually, let me do that. I think we can just fall down here. It's such a good animation. Like, whee! So we're just gonna restart, obviously. Dalton jaw. Tall screen is intimidating. He's looking a little unhinged, isn't he? I guess it's, well, I don't know about the reset button. Let's just do this. We get the little bond jingle. You can shoot quite a few times. So if you fall into the water in other places, you can kind of swim for a little bit, but you sort of eventually likely end up in that little shark. And we saw there were some other shark fins later in the stage. Matt Furness of Chrysalis. Matt Furness was very prolific on the Mega Drive. He did soundtracks for a lot of games. It's interesting too that he did games for such a variety of like publishers and developers too. Because Chrysalis like developed their own games. I don't think they released anything on the Mega Drive, but they released games on the Amiga and whatnot. He did stuff for Probe. He did stuff for the Kremlin. Again, he did the Amiga Spy Who Loved Me as well as this. I wonder if it was Probe, like the Mega Drive port of G-Lock has a Matt Furness soundtrack, and I think that's like a British developed port, which is in itself an odd thing. But I guess that might also be Probe, I forget. But he's gotten around for sure. So let's see if we can Susie. Oh, I think maybe it does fall, because I think it's like a trap. Like it can fall on you when you're down here, I think. Maybe it will kill. I still took damage. No, okay. What the? I got knocked down, but I didn't take damage. Well, we don't need to step on. So I guess probably what happens when you go up on top is that there's probably just an X-axis like positional trigger that drops the submarine. But I think probably what you can do is you can probably go on top of the submarine and then jump to the right to land where I'm standing right now. Why do so many Western games have this kind of camera? There's a lot of, like... Doing a properly good camera in 2D games is a science for sure. And I wouldn't say that it's like exclusively the domain of Western games. I don't have a specific answer for you. There's not a hostage over here, so there's grenades, right? Okay. Not gonna need them on this stage, of course, but... Yeah, like just the sense of how far you can, or rather how close you can get before the dudes start giving you hassle. That is a bit of a danger, like jumping across a gap like this, and you might... If there's an enemy on the other side, they might shoot you as you land and you get knocked down. So there's the last hostage. Oh, shit. So there was, in fact, nothing on that left. There's the bomb, and we're going to jump over it. Oh, very low time. So I think if you just go further here. Oh yeah, I guess you go down there. Oh, no, you have to go down there regardless, right? The sub isn't... Yeah, there's just a wall there. But I guess you go further to the right. And you eventually find a jetpack. All I remember is like one time when I was playing this as a kid, I got to the jetpack and there's a little animation of him picking it up and wearing it, of course. And I got shot in the middle of that animation and it like, ooh, knocked me down. And it just like despawned the jetpack. So I was like, oh. So that's like a way you can fail the level. And as you might imagine, the animation of him picking it up, it's like elaborate enough that you might have no enemies on screen, and in the midst of picking up the jetpack, an enemy sort of comes on screen, runs close enough, shoots you, and you fall over. It's a little awkward that you cannot, like... Despite him essentially kneeling at the end of a jump, you cannot actually go immediately... Oh, fuck's sake! Oh, there's the jetpack right there. You cannot actually go directly from a jump to a crouch. I don't really want to take this death, but... I feel like we might as well get to stage 2 a little faster, and we can do more sort of practice there. Let's see if we can get the jetpack. That's such a cool little touch that there's just like 2 ways to exit the level. 2 very James Bond-like ways to exit the level, for that matter. Oh, I completely missed looking out for this thing in the background, but I know we saw it in the background. Unlike my first attempt. Oh, I know he lands with the jetpack. Almost fell down there. Alright. Get this babe over here first. Then I guess we want to go to the right, so we go inside the cave somewhere. Go further down here, maybe? You kind of maintain a little bit of momentum. Like you run and you sort of let go of left or right, and then you jump. Whoa, that can happen too. Yeah, the momentum and inertia are both a little bit funky for sure. We got these 3. I think there's one more maybe before... Oh, why did I do that? That was stupid. Well, Bones is going to drop some health. Although, whether we can grab it, I guess, is a little bit unsure. The fall killed me. We're playing very sloppily here. But that's basically okay, because I'm kind of taking this as research data gathering. A little slippery. Seeing like how nimble he is though kind of makes me want to see a speedrun of this game. Surely someone must have done. Like I feel like it's like one of those games you probably can beat in like 10 minutes. You get good at the movement and everything. And like no enemy spawns and how to deal with them. Oh, that was lucky. We got the wrong jump. This is I'm feeling very much that this is a game where you can end up getting like very sloppy and careless, and that's gonna bring with it certain doom. I knew there was a guy there, but I guess he didn't spawn until I left. Now there's 2 left. What's up, Dad Flaps? Yeah, I had this game as a kid. I think this, like, it's a cool game. It's got a lot of cool stuff, but it's also got a lot of very irksome little oddities. Like, it's very punishing in some unintuitive ways. But as far as like straight up James Bond action platforming, I always forget, was there something over here or not? There's not. Like, there wasn't a lot. Like, I would definitely say this is better than James Bond Jr. on the Super Nintendo. Not that they're, like, that, you know, comparable. Alright, stay behind the blue thing. I guess there's a moon level. That's more than I knew. I've only, like, yeah, I've never seen, like, the end of this game. Did I destroy it? I guess I must have. Like, just exploded off stream? Off screen? Okay, cool. Right, so land on this thing. Oh! Okay, we fell a short enough height from the apex that I only took damage, and I got help from rescuing the girl. Alright, cool, we take those. Alright, so we know that the exit of this stage is in that cave hallway. So I reckon we'll probably just kind of come across the final hostage. Speedrun strat. I don't know if that counts as a speedrun strat. I was aiming to grab the vine. Oh yeah, yeah, she's on the ground because you eventually just get to ground here. I remember that now. There's that. Find bomb. Just about to itch my face. Oh, there's the bomb. We can actually even see it down there. That's kind of neat. We're just gonna get through the enemy gauntlet here. Do that. We got the, what was it, 14, 15 seconds? I guess it's probably 14.9 or whatever. Like the 0 counts. Like, you can take a second to wait for the enemy to spawn. You don't have to do it like last millisecond. So we got back here reasonably quickly. Alright, so we want to go up top first. Then I don't know if we... we go from there. I shouldn't even bother crouching, honestly. Dude, okay. Probably not worth it, because more enemies are gonna spawn. Okay. I don't know at this point, like, if it's far enough that I could do it on reaction. Maybe they're just not spawning anymore. You get 24 rounds per magazine, so you're not like super starved for ammo. I don't know that I've ever gone below like 3. Elevator, please. Taking an awful long time, isn't it? What the heck? Did I break something by firing too many bullets? Bring the camera all the way up. I guess that helped. Okay, so question is, where do we go now? Let's try the first... Because there's like one more stop here that isn't the bottom, right? I remember seeing that in the demo. Yeah. Yeah, crouching just means I can't fire. We didn't go here before, that's for sure. That means that there is a hostage at the bottom. Interesting. I was firing, I was pressing the shoot button while running, and there's like a clicking noise. And then when I stopped, he stopped to reload. So you can't like reload while you're running. But yeah, I think it's fair to say that this game features the most kind of badass, capable action Bond in any of the games we've seen. Like, yeah, we've done like vehicular stunts and cool shit like that, but as far as like his posture and the way he fires the gun and doing somersaults and his like general agility, I haven't really seen anything like that. Right, so right, so I think this is how we get to Mayday from the bottom. Have I played Blood Diamond? I haven't really played anything after Nightfire, I don't think. Part of why I'm playing all the Bond games is because I haven't played many of them before. This is one of the rare that I did play quite a bit as a kid. I never finished it, though. I barely recall ever getting this far, honestly. But we are going to be playing every game in chronological order, so we're going to get to Blood Diamond probably a year from now. Can I jump across here? I mean, I figured probably, right? Gonna be kind of precise, but see where we end up if we take this elevator. Oh, this is, I guess, past the other... Oh, okay. Well, good thing we went up and checked. Because that's going to be the second lowest floor. There's only one hostage left at this point. Is this stage really short? I mean, I'm not going to try to jinx it, but... Baron 70 was like sort of a halfway sort of a thing in the previous stage. Oh, okay. Figured I could maybe crouch under that, but I guess not. We're low on health here. This is where we fell down fighting Mayday, so she's up there. Yeah. Oh, she doesn't stop, like, get stuck when she gets hit. Oh, I had to let go of up to reload. Oh. Oh, fuck! I was gonna say, we gotta hurry to get the heart before it explodes, and I fucked up the climb. That sucks. Before we go up top, let's see. This is so fucking scary. It looks like your feet are gonna drop down below. Oh, what was that down there? Oh, it was the... Okay, I guess that's hitting something. Okay, there's not one of those things there. Well, I don't think there's anything down there. Fucking hell. Okay, probably a checkpoint somewhere here, though. No, I guess not. That's interesting. Pick this path across this time. But yeah, I'm looking forward to most of the games we're gonna get to play eventually, because I think the overall kind of level of quality is gonna be reasonably high. Even though there's very different types of games over the different kind of eras. Oh, exact same time happened before. Yeah, so here's that elevator. Oh no, okay. This is how we get to this. Okay, okay. Well, I guess this time we'll just go up top and see what's up here. Because either there's like the exit or a bomb or something, or the last hostage is up here. Like, there's gonna be some reason to go up here. This level does seem like either like there's two more things to explore, basically, right? There's all the way up here. Holy shit! Okay, I was not ready for that. Well, there's the bomb. Might as well use some grenades up here. Oh, I fucking missed. So note to self, stand just to the left of this thing. So I don't think we can arm the bomb, but I think it's safe to assume that we go up here to leave then. Fucking hero. Just wanted the clip. Oh, just one hit point is going to be a little scary, but I think we basically have the level mapped out then. Hopefully no one respawns on these narrow platforms, at least. Yep, that's I thought. You, or as I feared, rather. You do just drop right through. But yeah, it seems like you definitely want to get to Mayday from below, because that was trivial enough. So there's grenades there, and that's what they are for. Okay. Now do we get a checkpoint? We still don't. Still think this is probably the easiest way across. But now we know to go down, I suppose. But I wonder if going down... So scary. I was like trying to time it differently to see if I could avoid getting hit. That was a little scary. I bonked my head there. I much prefer going on ladders when I can kind of control the pace a little better than riding these elevators, but we don't have much of a choice here. So now we know what this is for destroying those things up there. Yeah, I don't want to drop down. Wait for the elevator. Again, luckily no timer. I like that the game kind of automatically puts you on the elevator. Sometimes it does this little dribble thing afterwards. These little lava turret things are a bit scary. They just feel a little unpredictable. The important thing here is to not drop close enough to the ledge so that you can get knocked down. There we go. I'm sure there's some launch timer thing on the next stage. So we didn't use a yeah, we're on 0 lives, so let's hope we just at least get to the next stage, because that means we get the whole continue for the next stage. Getting to the egg, well, getting to the bomb should be not too. I want to see if I could scroll the camera. I kind of forgot how dropping off of ladders works. Getting to the bomb is easy enough, but I don't know what happens after the bomb. Presumably, hopefully, it's kind of a straightforward dash to the exit. But I don't know that just yet, so... Bomb. Oh. Oh shit, we got a long-ass timer. No. What is this? Oh no. Fuck. Well, okay, we get to practice this stage again. I was not mentally prepared for that. But it's kind of cool that it's different for each stage. So let's see how optimally we can do this stage. So we kind of learned to do stage 2 pretty optimally. I think I probably took some sloppy death, maybe even 2, but... I was just about to say, I don't think I need to shoot another guy, but... Alright, health. Reload. Oh, the animation's so cool! Alright, so this is... pretty optimal so far. I was just about to say, before that guy shot me. Alright, bring the camera up so the elevator will spawn. Go down to the bottom, because there's a hostage there. I forget. Can I go across? Yeah, now I'm getting... unsure. So, okay, there's one hostage at the bottom, there's one hostage at the very end. The last one, I think, is on... Because there wasn't one around the bomb, I don't think. Well, we know to go to the very bottom first, at least. It's from there where it gets a little hazy for me. And I take this path, not the very bottom path, to get to, like, the low positioning for Mayday. So the question is, like, where do I end up? No, I think I did go across here, didn't I? Okay. Oh, no, the hostage is up here, I think. Yeah, because I wasn't sure if there was, like, some other... Yeah, there would have been the other path here, but I think I died when I tried to take that path or something. Alright, so we know where the final hostage is. So I guess this stage just doesn't have checkpoints. Well, it probably has one for the bomb. But the stage is shorter. So, like, knowing the whole layout... Like, if you go sort of back and forth, it seems like it takes a while to get here. Pretty close. But obviously it's like not a long distance. Fuck, okay. At this point I kind of desperately need to get that health drop from the boss. Oh, okay, I guess we can do that over here. So I want to make sure that I hit her very close to the ladder. Fuck, okay. Well, I'm not gonna get it. But we might be able to survive all the way to the hostage if we're lucky. Well, I'm not sure if we get full health from the hostage or if it's just like one. We still have the boss to deal with, but we should be getting 3 grenades. I forget if there's a dude over here. There probably is, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, because I had to make sure not to fall down. Oh, shit, okay. I was expecting to go further and drop, like, facing to the right, or to the left, rather. Yeah, like, how the fuck do you do that without taking damage? You just, oh, you get 1 health back. Of course you do. Oh, we got 2 hits. I'm mostly scared of the boss, but I'm sure there's... Because the whole elevator section, I think, is a little scarier going down than up. Hopefully we won't take any stray fireballs here. Well, I said hopefully. Of course, that's like the last time, like, or the first time in forever that they actually dropped that little extra fireball. They didn't do before. Oh, well, I guess I could have ridden it. Well, whatever. But yeah, this all feels like eminently learnable. If there is a blind drop in that part at the end, which I'm not even sure there is, but at least I know to... Hitbox is so gigantic. Missed it. I missed it again. Well, it doesn't really pose too much of a threat, so there we go. The blind drop, or what looked like a blind drop, I have to drop on the left side. I just need to be aware of that. Okay, I survived. I'm a little scared of the turrets. Ah! Time's looking pretty generous, though. Assuming the exit is where it says exit. Yeah, 19 seconds is still... I mean, we had, what, 70 something? So having 19 to spare, not too bad. And again, we, like... We could do that stage much better. Like, so getting here on the first credit feels entirely doable. 0 health, yeah. I mean, we're playing on small margins here, but we made it. I mean, 4 lives was almost enough to clear that stage first try. So we'll see how this goes. So but this is not the final stage. Well, I don't know. I've seen differing reports whether stage 5 is a proper stage or if it's just a final boss or something. We're progressing through this at a fairly rapid pace. Time-wise, I feel like completing this tonight is entirely possible. Whether I will have the calm and patience and focus to actually do it is another matter. But it feels like, I mean, we'll see. Stage 3 felt like a big step up in difficulty in some ways, with like the ways you had to deal with enemies. So if this is kind of continuing to stagger things, I don't know, it might take a few attempts, but it seems like it'll be doable. But we'll see. And when I say doable, I don't mean necessarily tonight, but like that I might be able to actually beat the game, which is not what I expected going in based on my childhood memories. James Bond sneaks in and blows up the entire island. Yeah, of course, of course. So at this stage, we have to fight scientist men. Enemy sprites are so good. Right, there's the rocket exhausts. Okay, they look like they hold their guns very high up. Let's actually investigate if we can crouch these. Alright, we probably don't have time to land in the middle there. Yeah, okay, that's how you do that. I saw flames over here. Oh, that was probably his clip exploding. Oh, do the fucking random ass. Oh, okay. Easy. Alright, so that's awesome to know that we can just crouch these guys. Like, is there a pattern to this? Is this one just 3 little bursts? I don't know. I guess everyone's probably a little different. Time hostages and very linear so far. Stage 3, you're gonna have to deal with odd job sooner or later. Well, there's a hostage. Get some health. Oh, grenades. Oh, what if this is a perfectly linear action gauntlet of a stage? That'd be pretty nice. Kind of what it's looking like so far. I'm pretty impressed with like how different each of the stages have felt in terms of layout and enemies and everything. Like, I feel like I'm liking this game better than I ever did as a kid. Like, I thought it was kind of cool, but I remember thinking it was like too hard to be like for me to really like it. Oh, right, we have to jump. I see. But I think this is like an interesting challenge, and it is very satisfying. Both the shooting and the jumping, like once you kind of get it down, like it always felt good. Dude, the fucking expert timing of these guys. Oh, there he is. All right, the boss fight's, you know, slightly underwhelming, but by some uncivilized games. I mean, as far as Bond goes, sure. But I was thinking in a slightly wider perspective. Like, I wouldn't say this is like a top 10 Mega Drive action game necessarily, but I really don't think it's bad. Takes a little getting used to. It's a little quirky, but like the presentation is fucking excellent. And I think it does do a little more fun Bond things than I kind of gave it credit for. Like, there's a lot of details to, I think, appreciate with the art and music that I don't know if I just kind of took for granted, or I didn't really remember those details, or whatever it is. Yeah, I mean, it's a Matt Furniss soundtrack, so of course the music's going to be good. It's kind of music where if you listen to it in isolation, it might not come across as excessively Bond-like. But for this kind of Technicolor video game version of Bond, I think it does fit very well. So, okay, there was no other ladder here. I have to do some kind of jumping here. Ah! If only James Bond could turn around a little more quickly and a little less cool. All right, we got checkpoints at least. Oh, look at that evil logo. I think I can jump up. Yeah, okay, that's gonna explode. Oh, we're down to 2 clips though. Yeah, it has kind of an sort of unusually vibrant look, both for the source material and for the platform, sort of. There is, of course, an actual Master System version of this game, although we're probably gonna... Well, no, I guess we will be playing the Master System version. There's a Game Gear / Master System version. And that's the next game on the list after this. And it uses a lot of the same graphics as far as I'm aware. But it has like different, probably like same tile sets. I skimmed through the manual of that, and I think it also has like 4 missions. Oh. But it has like sub-levels. So as far as I'm aware, again, the level designs are all different. And I think it plays differently. I remember watching Revenge 2 play it before. Okay, so I guess we should go up here before we go to the right. And it looked like the jumping and the shooting, like the physics of how everything behaves is very different. Oh! A little slippery Bond fella. Okay. Maybe I need to do something further away. Scary? Because it certainly seems like... Yeah. I don't think I'm meant to go up here just yet. Something is giving me the feeling that I might not be supposed to go up there just yet. So I guess we'll go to the right here and see. That's back. Yeah, because, well, I guess you can actually jump back there, so. Kind of evil scaffolding. Dude, how did that hit me? Tons of Q grenades. Maybe I was supposed to blow up something. Could I have grenaded that little flame exhaust thing? Very interesting level layout. It's like sprawling and big, but it doesn't feel like too confusing. Okay, so this would take us past that point. Maybe that's the whole idea. Level design here is looking fairly symmetrical. Of course, we don't know where the hostages might be placed. Enemies there. Yeah. I just wanted to reorient myself here to kind of try I knew where we were. So far, the hostages have kind of been in these red sections and not on the actual rocket ship thing. Nice, okay. Pretty tense. 3 lives and we're making good progress. The level seems a lot longer, or bigger at least, than the previous one. The guy's little floppy pixel of hair when they're running, it's so good. Oh, there's the fucking bomb. Okay. Oh, well, there we go. I was gonna say, I must have missed a hostage, but nope. So, yeah, I guess it's been a pretty linear action gauntlet, but not that much of a gauntlet, and just kind of big zigzag pattern. I feel like the third stage was kind of more intimidating. I mean, of course, it had the enemies that can hit you crouching, but also just like the lava, the instant death, and sort of precarious little moving platforms and stuff. This one's had more kind of cool platforming. I'm scared about enemies, but 59, okay. Oh shit! I did not mean to do that. Okay, I panicked a little bit, but I didn't quite panic that bad. I meant to like crouch and then jump. The game took that as a down plus jump. Okay. Holy shit! I died. Okay. How the okay. I probably should have gone up here before the bomb. I don't know if I can. Okay, that grenade hit at least. I'm out of grenades, okay. I'm low on ammo. Okay. That was pretty sick. I was not expecting a giant flying rope. Like, who was that? Professor Madgraves, whatever? I don't think that was his name. Oh, okay. No map screen, no nothing. We're just here. Are we gonna beat the game? Oh shit, there's Jaws. Final encounter. I have fucking no ammo. Oh, that does hurt. Oh, I'm trying to go down. I'm stuck. Finally the duel, yeah. Okay. Oh shit, I can stand on this thing. Probably don't want to stand down here. Oh, it's my last life. Game over. Fucking incredibly intense name entry. Oh! Fucking heart rate. I got a chunky score there. Dude, how the fuck do you fight him? Paul Margrave is the programmer. I think that was his name, right? Margrave, the evil professor. So I guess that must have been the evil professor in the spaceship thing. The laser beam, whatever. So I guess that means that stage 5 is just that boss fight. Like, oh my, it's kind of cool that they did a fight like that, but man, you do not feel particularly well equipped to deal with it. But we legitimately made it through stage 4 first try. And yeah, like, I think, although I wonder what happens if you game over, if you continue on the final boss. Like, the game doesn't tell you you're on mission 5. The American manual calls that stage 5, but I don't know how the game would consider it. So if you game over there, you might have to redo all of the stage. But I wonder, there are enemies you can... Enemies will show up during that fight. And I wonder if even after the fight, the professor, I mean, I wonder if you can farm clips. At least get 1 or 2 extra clips, because I was down to like 0 clips. And if I had more lives, like let's say for the sake of argument that we get to the end of stage 4 with like 3 or 4 lives, and I use all of my ammo fighting the boss, and I get 2 jaws with like 1 clip, that's like 24 bullets. I probably didn't have time to land 24 hits on 1 life, but over the course of 3 or 4 lives, you would probably spend all of that ammo. I do think it's not worth trying to use grenades on the professor. I think with Jaws, you can probably, like if you go up to the top right, you can probably start chucking grenades so they land kind of on him. It takes 2 years to throw the grenades, but he didn't move around too quickly. Like you could, like I could hang out without necessarily being able to shoot him very well. But that could give me, yeah, long story short, I think grenades are a lot more usable there. And for the most part, bosses haven't had a huge amount of health. You don't want to like completely tank it, but even so, I think it's, Of course, I don't know how much damage grenades do, but judging from those little arm things on stage 3, I think they I don't know. I would guess that they probably do the equivalent of 3 bullets or 5 bullets or something like that. So if you land grenades in situations where you either couldn't really hit with bullets, or are at least staying at a distance where you're kind of safe from being hit, if that means you could add an extra 5 to 10 bullets worth of damage without exposing yourself to too much risk, that's a lot of extra damage. Like that's a significantly improved damage output. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with the attract mode, because like I feel like it didn't do that before, but then it did do it multiple times, so I'm not sure. Like it's, yeah, I'm wondering if it's like just playing the wrong inputs for the wrong level or something. So this is a little scary, because on the one hand, yeah, I think we could get to the final boss with more lives this time, but is that gonna help? Because so far, like all the stages, it's a little bit of a battle of attrition, right? You get a few hostages here and there. You can kind of, like, if you don't complete a stage, even stage 3, regardless of like checkpoints, yeah, if I don't have to go all the way over there to get that hostage, yeah, then I can take a quicker route, I can stay a little safer, I can survive longer. But none of that applies for the final boss. I'm going to pause the timer, and I'm going to take a quick bathroom break, and I think we should have just enough time for one final attempt. And we'll probably cut the stream after that, whether we complete the game or not. But I'm feeling good about it, just on account of how much, like, each attempt has been improving. And for all we know, we could have been 2 hits away from beating it, and I think having grenades, as long as I can figure out when and how to use the grenades successfully, and even then, like you kind of get 1 attempt at it, because if you spend all of your grenades, then that's it. You don't get more of them. So if we could, which feels like a little bit of a stretch, but who knows? If all goes really well, if we get to the final boss with our continue intact, and get to start a new continue on stage 4, and do that, hopefully deathless, because you should easily get 5 grenades, because there's like several grenade cases in stage 4, and we could at least get sort of 2 attempts out of it. Because really, as long as we get to the final boss with at least 1 extra life. I didn't pay attention. I don't know if the health refilled But it probably did, because we must have had like 0 hits left when I beat the professor. And I definitely didn't die instantly on Jaws. I don't think so. Anyway, I'm going to calm my nerves a little bit, return in a minute or two, and then we'll do one more attempt. See you guys in a minute. All right, I'm back. Yes, I have detoxed. I've purged all remaining traces of bond from my system. We can get fully engorged with brand new bond. It's time to power up and make our way back through our Caribbean island resort and see if we can engage in the duel. Music's so good. All right. First, we got to fix the unhinged control. Oh, well, no, there we go. It didn't freeze or anything. Grenade fire jump. Game type normal. Music on. Let's do it. Let's see if we can possibly remain slightly more patient and not take a few silly, sloppy deaths. And see how that might work out. Are there really only 3 hostages on stage 1? I feel like I'm being gaslit or something. I feel like there should be more? Maybe not. I don't know. I haven't had to think too much about stage 1 in a while. Oh, that was perfect. Dropping it down here. Casually somersault over his head. There we go. Okay, we're early in the stage. I want to do some research here. I want to see if we can jump off to the right of the boat. See if that works. Came over with James Bond, the Duel movie night. Dude, they should have made a movie based on this game. I took damage, but we got over here. Maybe it's possible you could have run off the ledge and not jump, because of course that adds height, so you take fall damage. But I guess taking 1 damage there isn't so bad, because unless things go okay, terribly awry, we should at least save 1 more hostage and get a little bit of health back. If we're still not at full health, Jaws is gonna drop health. But then like 2 seconds after killing Jaws, we beat the stage anyway. Ah, fuck. I didn't mean to climb all the way up. Whoops. I don't really need those grenades, do I? I'm gonna grab them anyway. I got health from... Did Q put health in my grenade case? Keep being confused over unexplained health gains. But we take those. When you rescue the hostage, you place an animation of him crouching, but it's unrelated from your actual crouch. So he will always stand up afterwards, which can make you stand up into getting shot. That can happen. I tried to crouch and I shot downwards instead, so that was a bit stupid. Oh yeah, let's not fall off an elevator plummet to our death or anything stupid like that. Because you can basically stun lock him. It's just where you start reloading that bad stuff might happen. Alright. Shit. I'm counting on that. So scary every time. Yeah, see, I was picking up the magazine and I couldn't stop myself from... Yeah, I think I took a death here, didn't I? Just fell down in some stupid way. Exit to the left. That's so cool. Little animation of him, like, hopping into the submarine even. This game is cool. Oh, fuck, I just realized I didn't start the timer. Also, my time live split fucking crashed. Let me just pause as soon as we get here. And I will fix the timer. Was this PAL only? Nope. This was released in North America, Europe, Brazil, Japan. And possibly more. I don't know. Pretty much a worldwide release. 140.40. I gotta get some better solution for fucking timer shit. Live split just like crashes far too frequently. Like inconvenient. It started at 1. How long did that take? Not 10 minutes. Let's say 5 minutes. 1:45:40. That's close enough. I'll start the timer from there. I had this game as a kid. I guess I couldn't really speak to how like common it was. I had it. It's not like I would personally have had enough sort of data to go by determining whether a game was like unusual or popular or not. But I had this game. All right, from 3 hostages to 7. I jumped like way earlier than I should have over there. All right, we get the girl over here first. I want to say... next, probably we go in the cave. Dude, I tried starting the timer. Did it fucking instantly crash? Just fucked up. All right, thank you for alerting me to that. I just fucked up somehow. There we go. It's close enough. That's close. Holy shit! So many of these guys now. All right. All we need. That. Get out of there. I feel like this is a stage that's rife with opportunity for sloppy, pointless deaths. I think they just put this poor lady on a little precipice above the forest. I just remember that I still forgot. I just remembered that I forgot to look at the background for the satellite dish. It's not really a satellite dish, but like the building. The big building on this stage that you can see in the background on stage 1. I'm at full health, so I don't need to worry about that. Kill bones. Let's wait for that clip to explode. I can't fucking believe the ammo drops explode. That's so unhinged. So I think there's 4 hostages left. At this point, I don't think we've missed any. Ooh, that was scary. I didn't really mean to collect that, but... yeah, 3 left at this point seems right. Really remember where they are, but it sounds about right. This might be my favorite song. Hard to do. I wonder if sometimes if like trying to aim to land on top of them like the best strat, because they get like they act so awkwardly around you. Like when your sprites are kind of overlapping. Oh my god. Dude, crouch! Oh, I got impatient for 1 second and I take 2 hits. Oh, I'll get 1 health back there at least. Alright, so I collected the 3 grenades on stage 1. And we get more grenades up here. That's right, you cannot grab ladders if you're somersaulting. There's nothing on the right there, so I don't need to check this time. This guy didn't actually despawn for once. Maybe because I didn't go to the right. Now we're at full health. Yeah, the grenades must give you health. I think there's only like a few more shots. I could have conducted some science here. I wonder if we can see who's actually writing it. I could have conducted science in terms of like how many hits. There's only some transparent pixels around those pipes that don't look right, but that's fine. And you can jump pretty far. Fuck! Nailed it. Okay. I was trying to space the jump to land as far to the right as possible on the pipes, and I landed to the fucking extreme far left. I don't know how I managed that. I super mistimed it. But then I actually managed to grab the vine, unlike last time. Not gonna try to grab that. Or 4 clips anyway. Is there a platform there? Oh, there is, okay. We're good. The 1 hostage left. Wow, there's even more bombs here. Okay. And she's on the ground here. That's right. Don't really need to bother with that guy. I thought it would land on that branch. That was a bit scary. Yes. You know what? I'm not gonna take a needless risk. I made that elevator jump first try last time, but as you can see, it doesn't take a lot to slip up. Let's do this properly. If I just stand here, yeah, the elevator will pick me up. I was out of ammo. I had to reload. I got shot because of it. Shit. 2 seconds. I had plenty of time. I super fucked up, but that's fine. No deaths. That should refill our health at least. Four hostages. Being a little more aggressive with bullets. It's interesting that, like, these enemies on this stage, for no particular reason, just fire bullets in a way that you can't crouch them. But it also goes to show that, like, the enemies really aren't just, like, color swaps. The reason I would suspect, reload, that they can shoot you is because they just happen to be drawn that way. Which is kind of cool because it basically just means that, you know, the enemies are just not traced over the other sprites, or, like, you know, they're just completely drawn uniquely for each enemy type. And given how the game works, like, it doesn't bother me the sort of lack of enemy variety. You don't really need other types of enemies because there's a lot of other obstacles and things to navigate around. So I feel like even the fact that you actually get that the one enemy type for each stage is visually unique, I think is actually really cool. Okay, so I think next I go to the very bottom Yeah, I know where the 3 are. I can go to the very bottom, go across, go up to the left to grab the other girl, and then I go... Yeah, okay. I know where everything is. And I think I might as well do it that way, as opposed to learning how to go across. Like, the last 1 or 2 times I went across this way, I didn't take any deaths, at least. Like, I didn't fall into the lava. So it's probably safer or more consistent to do it this way, as opposed to trying something that I'm less familiar with. Like, this thing might hit me, but... Oh, we made it over here. So the other girl is up here. And then we go to the right, and we fight Mayday. And then we go across the lava to get the last hostage. Probably safe. So weird, just like, if the camera is off like that, there's no like holding up for a second and he looks up and then the camera moves. Like, you just instantly move the camera up as soon as you touch the up on your D-pad. Okay. Fucked, but what you gonna do? Hope I can... Sprites look so good. Got it. Okay, nice. So I can like slide off of this thing and land pretty far to the right. And I'll probably get hit once. But if I get hit once and then shoot him, I get that health back from rescuing the hostage. That's pretty alright. Or I don't get hit. But yeah, you can kind of see, like, he wasn't really able to shoot me because the sprites were overlapping. Like, he has to... Like, enemies have to have a little bit of distance before they will attempt to shoot you. I just love this little dangling animation. Character animation overall is so good in this. Game is a little unhinged in places. Sure, it's got the A button to jump by default. But it's pretty cool. Like, I'm so happy because I was kind of expecting... Oh yeah, that would have even gotten me health, actually. I was basically kind of expecting to not... I don't know, to be kind of frustrated with the game and feel like I wish it was as cool as I thought when I was a kid, even though even then I thought it was like kind of cool, but I struggled with it, so I didn't necessarily enjoy it that much. But now I'm like, dude, this game's fucking sick. Alright, I gotta stand as far to the left as I can. As to not get hit by this thing. Oh yeah, we got the obstacle course. I should have counted. Well, whatever. I'll save one. We hit, what, 2 grenades? And that definitely decreased the number of times we had to shoot it by a lot. So yeah, I didn't count, of course, but I would say 3 to 5 bullets worth of damage from a grenade seems like a reasonable estimate. And if that's the case, landing even 1 grenade on Jaws could make a difference. But, I mean, for all I know, you could have like 200 HP, so... Obviously, that means that it's even more important, but... Could be doable. Oh, I didn't actually even realize there were lava there. Timing. The hitbox to kind of snap on top of ladders horizontally is pretty generous. Wait, I got fucking turbo fire jumping. 26 seconds to spare, no deaths. Yeah, this game is pretty fast. Oh, dude, just the level of progression and skill enhancement is very satisfying. Of course, that's like 30 years of baggage from my childhood memories of this and everything, but still. Just being impatient. Somersault across, don't try to drop down in the middle. Remembering that these guys have a real knack for showing up just as you land and shoot you in your jump recovery frames. I don't know if the bullet just like fully blended in with the control panel, but I didn't even fucking see my bullet there. Grenade or hostage or something here? Grenades. Did I get ammo for that too? Oh, there's a hostage also. I'm just so happy because I'm like liking this game more and more. I just like in my memory, I felt like this was a game I had like somewhat fond memories of, but like that I couldn't really recommend probably. But that's not how I feel about it now at all. I'm like, dude, this game is like... Ah! Of course. Somewhat fond memories, yeah. Well, that's a silly death, but honestly, it's a miracle that that didn't happen before. So I wonder if each hostage is like a checkpoint, because they're all kind of spread out over this lengthy exploration. So we've already got 4 grenades, and I know we'll get at least one more suitcase before the stage is over. How was I down to 2 clips? Well, I guess that's from the... Wonder if I can... Yeah. Be safe. Like, scroll the screen far enough. Okay. That was still lucky. That could have fallen down. I was just worried about falling into the exploding magazine. Alright. I guess no enemy. Like, there's no timer, so I'd rather be safe. That's a badly timed jump, but we got there. Luckily, it's not that tight. There's a hostage over here. Probably a suitcase also, I think. Let's grab it. I was like, do I want to save it in case there's like it turns into a checkpoint or I need that health or whatever, but fuck it. Hope I didn't need to... No, I think I... Okay. No, okay. I just needed to go up here to get the hostage and then go back. Like, it's so crazy they had this, like, sick animation of him, like, vaulting down over ledges. Which seems, like, so extra, even for this Bond. Like, they could have just... Like, there's so many little things like that where they could have just as easily just have him drop down through the floor. Like, so, like, how many other games do that? You just, you know, drop through the floor with no particular animation. You're just suddenly airborne. It's just as if the floor disappears for a split second. But no, they had to have a unique animation of him doing this, like, acrobatic blip. It's so cool. All right, so here, if we try to go up here, that's when this little exhaust thing is gonna kick in, right? Yeah. But I do think I want to go here. Like, I don't think I'd go right on the previous level. I think I do it up here. I guess I was wrong. Maybe that little landing animation, like, yeah, this... Scaffolding. It's just bombs everywhere. Like, they really want you to get to the end of this stage with grenades. But using them on the actual boss... I don't know, it's tricky because I feel like I landed probably one grenade when I did do it, and I don't know how much health I had left. Dodging the laser beams is hard too. At least there's a checkpoint there. So I feel like I would rather save my grenades and at least try doing it mainly using the gun. Because it was so awkward even, like, I feel like every time I try to throw a grenade on the boss in this stage, it's like a second or two even where I do not attempt to shoot the gun. Do I go all this way? Oh no, okay. I guess I go down probably. I think I go to the left because I went to the right last time. And I want to say that the last two hostages are like... kind of in the same section at the very end. Scary. Yeah, because I remember being like, oh shit, I must have missed one. And the last hostage was like right by the bomb. Which could be here. We'll see. I feel like there was a section left, but this is kind of starting to look... Oh, we'll see. Got 3 spare lives. Well, there you go. Okay, so I don't have to actually... Let's see if the boss spawns. I think it's easy enough to jump over. Actually, I mean, we might as well see what happens. I can get health from the girl. I don't know if I can get health from the bomb. Possibly. So that could be a way to kind of farm this. Sounds like we got laser beam sounds, yeah. Landing hits. Okay, I took 1 damage. Okay, you didn't have that much health. Five grenades, 3 extra lives, 1 extra continue. Dudes might spawn here. 3 clips. Okay, I'm gonna try to go to the top right to see if I can toss some grenades down there. Shit, okay. I forgot you can stand up here. try to drop down. You cannot drop. Those are like solid force. I think I grenaded him there. It's not gonna reach. My bullet's fucking disappearing. Okay, about to die. She had to like chase after me. The girl just spawned, kissed me on the cheek. Oh, dude, look at this! Holy shit! Little JB like button on his sleeve, whatever you call those things. We fucking did it! That was a very satisfying game. Boom! Oh, we fucking beat Paul. Get fucked, Paul. Dude, that was sick. I'm like feeling pure exhilaration. We did it. The theory crafting of how we might beat the final boss checked out, and we again 0 health. Man, this game was awesome. Like, yeah, going back to my memories from childhood, and even just like looking at the list of games and thinking of like, how will this compare to the others? Yeah, I mean, it's cool, but it's like awkward. But I think I am ready to say that this is probably my favorite Bond game so far, of the ones we've played. There's some contenders for sure, and I think there are like some games that incorporate a few more elements a little more prominently, whether it's Q or some villains or gadgets or like set pieces or moments. But I think within the framework for what kind of game this is, I'm really impressed with how much like we got these like villain lair locations. Like the jungle is the one that sort of stands out. But then you've got this like satellite, like power plant shit, whatever, and like hidden underground caves, which are kind of part of that jungle location. The sprite, like even if the boss characters are kind of very non-threatening, the little pixel art Mayday and Baron Samedi and Jaws, like they all look awesome. And it's so cool to see them. Like I kind of made fun of it before, like, oh, there's only like 3 or 4 of them, but it's a small little game, and to have that many unique little boss sprites for what amounts to not very much. Like, if you look at how the levels are designed, the boss characters are really just thrown in there in a way where if they hadn't been there, it would not, like in the grand scheme of things, the game would not have been that different. But just having them there, you know, makes you feel a little bit more like, oh shit, it's like, you know, this Bond villain, like these little, it creates these little moments, which I think are very nice. And like the two main things about this game that I felt like playing this now is A, that I vastly overestimated the game's difficulty. It is punishing and it's awkward in ways, but yeah, this was what, our 3rd attempt, and we 1CC'd it. And the other thing is like, yeah, I don't think I'd given this game enough credit. You know, you kind of see this weird looking fake bootleg Timothy Dalton in the opening. And you have this like extremely vibrant, almost cartoony first level. You know, if you fall into the sharks, you get this goofy animation of Bond being, you know, killed by the sharks. So it gives a little bit of a goofy first impression. But I think again, like, they managed to squeeze so much personality into this game. The little sequences between the stages, even here, like, there's the little 007, well, little I shouldn't say, the big ass 007 logo, which they don't even linger on it. It flashes by in half a second. Even the pacing of the little cutscenes between the levels. Like, they could have let you savor it a little bit more. But yeah, like, the animation, the character animation is really excellent. It doesn't feel specifically or exactly like Bond of the films, but it's kind of an idealized video game version of Bond's, which, like, if you read some comic books or something with James Bond, he might do a somersault or perform these kinds of feats that you might not see in the films. But I think the atmosphere and the kind of overall vibe is kind of spot on. You know, for being a weird British computer game adaptation, it is, I think, impressively faithful isn't really the right word for it, but like it embodies the joy of Bond in a very good way. You know, as a as a contrast, we have the other game they made, right, The Spy Who Loved Me, which I think it's in that game, right, where you have the top-down driving stage where you can just flat out run over people. And it's like very elaborately animated, similar to this game, which is a lot of little touches and visual little flourishes. For instance, when you drive over someone, they go like tumbling, flipping through the air, and when they land on the ground, there's like this big bloody splat. And you would only ever see that if you drive into someone and then immediately like grind to a halt, so you stop the screen from scrolling, so you get to like relish this collateral damage animations of people just being demolished by Bond, which is like completely pointless addition in terms of what needs to be there for the purposes of the game, but it's also like completely crazy and unhinged for that to be in the game in the first place. So there's nothing, like, I don't know if it was license holders being a little more, you know, holding them on a tighter leash, or if they were, I don't know, a few years older and wiser or what, but this seems a little, it has a little bit of that energy, but it's channeled in a way that feels less insane. So yeah, I mean, I could see someone, again, playing it as a kid, I thought it was cool, but I thought it was hard. If I, you know, the way I played it now, granted, I came into it with a little bit of previous knowledge, but I still beat it in 2 hours, so I feel like someone else could easily beat this in an evening, you know? So I reckon if you like reviewed games back then, you might not have been very impressed with like, oh, it's only 4 stages, I beat it like that, like there's not much of a game here. You know, that's sure, that's kind of hard to argue, and in a way it kind of makes it feel a little more Amiga-like also. But coming to it 30 years later, where you don't have that, you don't have to have that mindset of like, how much game am I getting for my money or whatever, right? What is there to enjoy here? Yeah, I got an evening of tremendous joy out of this game, and I'm happy to move on to something else. And that's all it has to offer to me, really, and it did so in a way that I was very impressed with. And you know, sure, I've been forged by Amiga lunacy and you know, hardships, and even the cooler Amiga games, for the most part. I think License to Kill, we actually did beat 100% legitimately. You know, it took some cheesing and figuring out how to do the final stage with the oil trucks and whatever, but I think this was a game we could beat very fairly just by playing it as intended and figuring it out and learning the levels. So it was like a pretty civilized and friendly experience. I mean, honestly, even James Bond Jr., the NES game, was significantly more British than this in several ways. It had like also huge amounts of weird polish, but also was kind of weird and like very forgiving with the infinite credits on the first loop, but then you get to the second loop where you have to 1cc it and you have to like, yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think, like, I reckon, I guess we can look at the spreadsheet, because we should bring that up anyway before we wrap the stream. I'm hard pressed to think of what would be my favorite Bond game so far, if not this, but I think The Spy Who Loved Me is the only, well, No, I say that, but License to Kill was cool. But they are, of course, like, this one is so much more playable and sort of smooth in the controls. For all its clunkiness and Bond's heavy inertia, you know, a lot of the action bits in the other games were way more clunky and awkward than this. I'm excited to check out the 8-bit version, and it's nice to know that even if that doesn't hold up super well, this game is still great. And if those two games are kind of, I mean, they're not the final 2D games, because we got a lot of mobile games, portable games, and whatnot, but these games sort of mark the end of an era, because after the Duel for the Master System, the next game after that is going to be GoldenEye, and that, of course, kind of sets off that whole thing. So if these two games, even if the 8-bit one isn't very good, I think that's like a nice little, what's the word? Forget the word, but whatever. It's a nice end. It's a nice little way of wrapping up this kind of, you know, the 2D era of Bond, if you want to call it that. Yeah, let us do this then. Give me a second, and I'll do a little bit of setup here. And I shall bring the spreadsheet up on stream very shortly. Oh, yeah, it's okay. Nice. Yeah, presumably largely on account of there not being films, but also the fact that there weren't any films in the first half of the 90s due to like legal disagreements and like there was some kind of ownership dispute of the Bond IP, which I think even had like some impact on some of the films in the 80s one way or the other. But my understanding is that is why there were no Bond movies made between 89 and 95. And it seems easy to imagine that would have had a kind of trickle-down effect to licensed products, whether it's games or something else. But I also wasn't sure, like, because a lot of the Bond games up until this point were made by European developers for the European market. The very first one that came out on Atari 2600 and the SG-1000 and whatever else, it had a bunch of ports. That was a Parker Brothers game. That was a game. That was an American game. It had a Japanese port. But since then, all the computer stuff seemed to mostly be kind of European-centric. And it's just one of those things that I couldn't help speculate on, like just wondering kind of what the general sort of cultural presence of James Bond was. I'm like, obviously it's not like the movies didn't come out in America, no one heard of them or anything, but it's like hard to gauge, obviously not having been there, how much of a strong cultural institution they were and how much kind of you know, whether that would have played a role in the lack of Bond games being made. Because it seems like, you know, in the second half of the 80s, there were several Bond films, right? You would have thought that one, if not several of those, could have made for NES games. But maybe it was, you know, maybe the license holder was like just made it difficult for non-British companies to get the license, and naturally at that point in time they would have been more focused on the microcomputer market than the console market. So I don't know, but it's a little bit curious, isn't it? That we had a bunch of Bond games in the second half of the 80s, and even 1990 we had a bunch, and these came out in the James Bond Jr. games in 92 and this in 93. And of course, I imagine that GoldenEye was at one point or another intended to come out before 1997. It's pretty late. It's, you know, right on time for, like, I feel like the next Bond film. Maybe not, but it was a very significant delay between the movie coming out and the game coming out. I think ultimately people would argue that it was probably worth the wait. But of course, by 95, Bond film franchise was kind of up and running again. Yeah, it's a real shame that Dalton didn't get to make more films, because I think we haven't watched every Bond film, but we've watched all the ones based on, or that had games directly based on them. And out of the ones we've watched, License to Kill is by far my favorite. It's like just a really slick, cool action movie, and Dalton's performance is good, but also like his character is written in a much more compelling way compared to The Living Daylights. I enjoy The Living Daylights also, but it's a bit like Bond is kind of doesn't feel like he's written to the strengths of Dalton as a performer. So it's kind of Dalton trying to do his best Roger Moore, and it comes off like a little awkwardly. Like he's not exactly, he can be very funny, but it's a different kind of charm. And like Annie can be very charming, but like him trying to do his best Roger Moore, not even doing a Roger Moore impression, but like being basically Bond feeling like he's written for Roger Moore and him trying his best to like make something out of it. It's a little bit like, I wouldn't say that Dalton is my favorite aspect necessarily of that film, but he is absolutely like phenomenal in License to Kill. He's really great. And I think like if they had had the opportunity to write more films that play to his strengths, like I think he would have had a like more all-timers in him for sure. Yeah, I think License to Kill is a very divisive Bond film. I think like I like it a lot. And I think like rewatching most of the Roger Moore films, I feel like every single one of them have like fun and cool stuff in them, but they're also like kind of clunky and like very awkward in a lot of ways, and like not that super great. And that's not really down to Roger Moore. I don't mind him, but they're kind of like, some of them are sort of awkwardly paced. And you have stuff like A View to a Kill, which like it has like super unhinged stuff with like the fucking secret Nazi like experiment genius children, and you know, you got very colorful actors in Christopher Walken and Grace Jones and everything, but they don't really get to be that like larger than life presence on screen. Like for a Christopher Walken kind of mega acting performance, it's very dull, frankly. I think it's fine, but like compared to what you would know him to be capable of, it's not much of a performance. And the plot of that film is like such a retread of Goldfinger, which we coincidentally watched around like I think we watched them almost back to back. And Goldfinger's like such a better film than that one. But yeah, I really liked Dalton, and it's definitely one of those like, man, what a shame that we didn't get the chance to see him, you know, play Bond in more films, because I think he had more great Bond films in him, and I think for sure like he could have. I'd be happy to have seen what that would have looked like in the mid 90s, but yeah, that's how it goes. Funnily enough, like Pierce Brosnan was even like, he was very close to landing the role in 87, which just seems crazy to think, because you look at GoldenEye now and it's not like he's old in that one. But it's so, you know, actors' ages are so different nowadays. It's like back then people looked old when they were 30, and nowadays you have people in their mid to late 60s looking like they're 30 instead. Weird how that can work out. Anyway, let us consult the old spreadsheet. Oh yeah, that's what we want. That's what we want. Let me do this. Let me interact. There we go. Thank you, OBS. Did I? Okay, wait, let me, okay. I didn't think it would start playing in the background. There we go. Let's just turn that off. We want to... Can I try and... Oh, there we go. That's maybe a little better for stream viewers. So there we go. Mission 15. James Bond 007 The Duel for the Mega Drive, developed by the Kremlin, published by Domark. Has been begun and oh yeah, that's right. I can't edit in this window. Do that over here. 2023-06-19. Mission has been completed in 2 hours, 9 minutes, and 14 seconds. Yeah, I gotta fix the bot archive for Junior on the Super Nintendo. Completed the game on normal difficulty. 1cc on the third attempt. I feel like I want to make some other notes. Game was surprisingly sick. Let's put that in there. Oh yeah, I can't really see that. Sorry about that. There's my little review. I mostly wanted to make sure to make some notes about how I beat the game. Like whether I used cheats, what version, and whatever. But I think I had to put some kind of comment in there. And yeah, we'll see if / when we do some kind of big old ranking and review of all this stuff. I think we we'll have to get to that at some point. Well, when we're done, I guess. Although I had the thought that I would want to put some kind of note on how I feel about the game right when I'm done with it. Because when we did the Batman games, of course, for the final stream, I did like the full ranking of every single Batman game. And, you know, that leads to, you know, oh, this game I played 2 years ago. I think I remember how I felt about it, but, you know, hard to say for sure. It's interesting, too, the time here. Both James Bond Jr. and this, we ended up completing it in 2 hours or so on the single stream. The one outlier up here, of course, is... Operation Stealth, aka the Stealth Affair, which took 15 hours 43 minutes. Some of these other games we spent like 7 hours for. Which one was that? Live and Let. Oh yeah, the boat game, because that's because we played like 7 versions of it. It'll be very interesting to see how the playtime evolves. Man, I should make some graphs and shit. I guess you can do that in Sheets, right? I should look into that. For like when we did the Batman games, at one point we started tracking some statistics for like which Batman villains who show up in each game. I guess we could kind of do that for Bond villains too, right? Because we've already had a couple of appearances by Jaws. We've had one appearance by Paws. Mayday technically has shown up at least twice, right? Because she was in the text adventure. We had the little fight scene. Odd Job. Is this actually the first? No. Oddjob was in the Goldfinger text adventure game. And we had the fight with Goldfinger as well, of course. We had to kick the gun out of his hand. Man, it was suplexed Goldfinger out of the helicopter. That was pretty good. That was pretty good. Those text adventures really weren't great, but they had their moments for sure. Anyway, I'm gonna have to think about those things and see what we can concoct. In any case, this game has been completed. It is now green. And next up, will be James Bond 007 The Duel. It says here Game Gear also on Master System, but I reckon we probably will. Well, we're gonna have to see, because the Master System version I would be able to play on my Mega Drive because I have a flash card and it's fully backwards compatible. But I believe this is one of those Game Gear games that had a Master System release in certain regions. I think it was like Europe only, or probably Brazil, but I think I read that the Master System version did not come out in America. And the Master System and Game Gear are very, very similar on a hardware level. And basically, a lot of those Game Gear to Master System ports basically are the same game, except you have like a wider kind of visible range. And for a platformer, that would probably make the game a little more playable. But it also has the consequence, in some games at least, that it runs much worse, because you suddenly have to render more stuff on screen and whatever. So we'll have to see which version is the one we want to play, or we might check out both, who knows. To my knowledge, they are the same game otherwise, in terms of like level layouts, gameplay mechanics, and all that, which is why they are not separate on the list. But I haven't done the super deepest research on it. But it was apparently also developed by the Kremlin, so it'll be very fun to compare it to the Mega Drive version. So we might do that on Wednesday. I don't know. I was like, I was not ready for this game to be completed in one stream, so I was fully expecting to continue this on Wednesday and then maybe do something else over the weekend. And I don't know. We'll see. So either we do this on Wednesday, or maybe we do some more Mortal Kombat or something else. Well, I'll have to see. What's up, Laura? You're here just in time for me to end the stream, because it's already 10 p.m. I just realized. Stranger, you don't see Sly Spy on the list because Sly Spy is not a James Bond game. It is a secret agent action walking shooting game, but it's not a James Bond game. And as you can see, we have more than enough James Bond games to cover to have any time to worry about non-Bond video games. I mean, I play other games, but as far as this project goes, we're going to focus exclusively on the proper Bonds. So let's take a quick look then at what is coming up. We do have the Q Branch Research Funding Initiative. We got a few subs and whatnot, I think, over the course of this stream, so we bumped it up a little bit. So we are about a little less than 3,500 away from reaching our goal of 15,000. Each point here representing 1 bit of a cheer, for example, or if you sub, the equivalent amount will be added to this. So we're not super far off. So far, the secret missions that we did, for those not familiar, we played Shaken But Not Stirred, a unlicensed, I was gonna say text adventure. This one was actually pretty elaborate. We had to do the island exploration in the first person 3D maze, and we had to escape pause. This game was very impressive for what it was, frankly. And then we had secret mission number 2, which was Aquabase, also a 1982 unlicensed Bond adventure. And this one is a pure text adventure, which was very, very basic, I guess you can say. Not a terribly impressive game, but charming and interesting, and kind of cool to see again all these different interpretations of early Bond games. But next up of the main lineup will be the Duel for Master System / Game Gear. James Bond is back, pitting his wits and firepower against many of his old adversaries in an attempt to rescue the daughter of Professor Michael Jones. Brilliant multi-screens and fantastic animated action make this a Master System tour de force. So that's interesting. The plot already sounds pretty different. Although, you know, at the end of the Mega Drive game, we did, I guess we rescued a girl? A girl emerged from the darkness to kiss James on the cheek. And then we got a kind of close-up story, or not, like a little cinematic image of James Bond standing there, and like a lady in a totally different outfit was standing by a car. It was a cool image, but the image didn't seem to have anything to do with the plot or the actual ending. But that's cool that if this has like a different plot, then that might mean it's got more differences in the game too. So we'll see. We might check that out on Wednesday. I might need a little more time to do some research and preparation before that. But regardless, whether it's Bond or not, stream will be back on Wednesday evening with some form of video gaming. We will wrap things up there tonight, but let me just figure out who is streaming that we can raid, and I will send you lovely people over, well, wherever we're gonna send you guys. It looks like Sejuv is doing demos. Yeah, the Steam demo thing like started today, right? So maybe we should do that on Wednesday. That's not a bad idea. I should try to look up what we might do there. And who knows, maybe Sejuv is doing some cool demo exploration. Let's go say hi to him anyway and see how that goes. Thank you very much for hanging out. I hope you guys had fun. I had a tremendously fun time. I feel so satisfied that we completed this game, and I'm so satisfied that it turns out that this game is fucking way cooler than I remembered it. Take care, everybody. I'll see you guys in the near future, and bye.